Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck, nigga? Seen them 36s go from the Jordan to Scottie Pippen. Hey. I ain't gonna let them play with my name, see Scottie trippin'. Now them winning, got a plug out in friends, that's what I'm sippin'. And you ain't about to play with my name, y'all nigga trippin'. The man, yeah, the myth. That's probably why he's stiff. Take him back to Lunkin Road. It was clear he had a gift. It's word to Donatello them. I came from the sewer. Watch the smut in the mud. Oh shit, entrepreneur. Take him out the duct tape and throw away the rapper. 7 grams like golf balls. Trying to win the Masters. Never like consignment. That's why I bought my Masters. How you getting facts from some niggas who ain't factors? Only niggas talking crazy is the ones with no motion. Just like the kitchen sink talking crazy about the ocean. And when they mention me, all I'm hearing is emotion. Haters of the year, y'all should give them a promotion. 36s go from the Jordan to Scottie Pippen. I ain't gonna let them play with my name, see Scottie trippin'. Now the winning got a plug out in friends, that's what I'm sippin'. And you ain't about to play with my name, y'all nigga trippin'. You got the right plan, but the wrong man. Ain't no nigga.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 127 of the SplashCast, the Around the League edition, Monday Night Raw. I'm your co-host, Reggie.
I'm your co-host, Norwood. Our powers combined, we are your HBCU homeboys. Thank you for rocking with us on this Monday night. Got a little Jets Chargers, got a little Hawks Thunder, and you got us. Let's do it.
Let's get into it. So for y'all that are tuning in, we appreciate y'all. We just finished up the pregame. If you're listening to this as it comes out on Spotify, Facebook, or YouTube, make sure you go back and listen to the pregame, listen to the SplashCast 36-pack, and the ATL edition that came out on Tuesday. Make sure y'all listen to all of that. So, y'all know what it is. When it comes to Monday Night Raw, we start out with our HBCU news around the culture. Got a few things we're going to talk about today. Let's get right to it, man. Let's get right to it. First off, happy homecoming to everybody. A&T had their homecoming. North Carolina Central had their homecoming. Prairie View had their homecoming. There were a couple other teams that had their homecoming. Boy, we finally hit a 3. November marks the end of homecoming season. Normally, you get October. That was supposed to be Black History Awareness Month. So let's get started right with it. First take, Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith are doing an HBCU tour. Hey, shout out to us, man. Y'all need us. We are your HBCU homeboys. That's what I'm talking about, Deion Hunter. See? Shannon Sharp turned first take up at his HBCU Savannah State. This was the first day they were there. Unc came out there ready to go. Turn up with the football team. Yeah. As you can see, he came out there with the pom-pom ready to go. Shannon Sharp went to Savannah State. And shout out to my homeboys, Travis and Troy Nunnally, their father, RIP, Maurice Nunnally. Shannon Sharp actually broke all of his tight end records at Savannah State. He broke them all. Maurice Nunnally, great dude that ended up holding all of those records. And I believe he's in the Savannah State Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame.
I'm sure.
So this was dope, man. They had, I like the way that they set this up. They had everybody in the shot. You know, a lot of times with HBCU games, they'll try to spread them all out and around, and it makes it look like there's not a lot of people there. But if you actually put them in a concentrated area, and most of the time that they're normally selling out the stadium, similar to like the bowl games here in Atlanta when they decided to just close off the top. Well, that makes it look like everybody is there. And look at them. They had a good time. I see somebody with the, what's the lady?
Joy.
Not Joy Taylor. Jalen Rose ex-wife.
Molly Karam.
Somebody had the Molly Karam head out there. Shannon was tough. Shannon was out there though. He was having a good time. Look at Molly.
I really appreciate the visibility. This is something that I think we're in dire need of. I think that HBCUs don't get nearly enough credit. There's not a lot of college game days going to HBCUs, and we know as people who frequent those type of things. I mean, I was just at Prairie View. If game day ever went to Prairie View, they would be like, oh my God, this is crazy. Because it is. Until you get out there and see it,
Oh, you talking about all the RVs?
It's not believable.
That's the Southwest thing.
But just like culturally, like when it really comes to homecoming, we really do homecoming. We
especially
do
this year. This seems like the first post-pandemic year where everybody came out. There was record homecoming attendance at every single homecoming this year,
and
every
it was
single one.
And I get it. I respect PWIs. Y'all do it, but it's not for us. Homecoming is a full week, even for the alum. Like if you're an alum of a PWI, you go to the game on Saturday, you tailgate, and you go back. If you an alum of an HBCU,
you get down Wednesday.
Wednesday for some of us early birds. Thursday is like it's kind of tight. You like, man, I gotta get there by Thursday. It's just
Thursday.
And I'm not
Thursday.
Leaving, I'm probably leaving Monday.
You know when you have like family reunion and you have to go and you have the hospitality suite. That's what Thursday is. Thursday hospitality. We get there, we seeing everybody. We may be a little sober. We ain't gonna be just full blue out yet. But we gonna be a little sober, depending on the time.
If you do it right, there should be a hospitality suite really all weekend, but specifically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, because Wednesday, Thursday, everybody makes different moves. So once everybody you start making your moves on Thursday, Friday, whatever that move may be, you start making those moves, and then you normally come together for a party afterwards to tailgate the game. But listen, I'm so happy because they're also going to Central State. Now, Stephen A. went. Yep. I mean, they're going to Central State. Even though Stephen A. went to Winston-Salem State, he has been embraced by Central State because they're one of the lesser-known HBCUs in Ohio. So, I'm excited that they're going to both. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. Huh?
Wait, I think they're going to.
They might be going to Winston-Salem.
Yeah, I think that's where they're going.
Well, that makes sense. They were at Central State last year.
I want to tell you right now, you ain't that. Yeah, could you imagine we did that? Somebody else. Yeah, we're gonna go to TSU because boy, Hampton will have our.
Well, I will say I'm happy that the alumni are doing things, and we talked about Hampton. I think Hampton's homecoming. They had the shop there, and they had people there as well, or part of the tour. So. I'm looking forward to this. Capitalize. I think they gave away some scholarships. They gave away some money to the school as well. So shout out to First Take. No matter what you feel about Stephen A. and Shannon, they are doing it for the culture. So
and we need to keep that at the forefront. The people who are the face for the worldwide leader in sports are both HBCU graduates, the HBCU products, and if you start there, you can land anywhere.
Where's the chat? I know we got chat up here, no? But anyway, let's move on.
Grambling Soccer.
Grambling Soccer. Shout out to the Grambling State Tigers. The women's soccer team claims the 2023 SWAC Women's Tournament title. They call themselves Built Champions for Life. Shout out to them, man. I'm excited. I think they won the tournament at Prairie. The tournament was at Prairie View, which is like really cool that they had the tournament at Prairie View during homecoming week or right before homecoming week. I don't know if I'd have left. I'd have been there for at least a day.
I don't know. I do know. Not me. Hey, I'll get back. Don't worry about it. It ain't that far. I will get back. I'll get back though, Rustin, for sure. Yeah, on my own times, on my own terms.
Houston or Rustin. No shade. Just truth. Houston or Rustin.
Well, okay, so this is the other thing. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of game about Prairie View. Prairie View and Houston are not in the same city. No. It's the equivalent of Atlanta to Athens.
Yeah.
It's about an hour. Mm-hmm. Was it 45 minutes from Atlanta to Athens?
What's 45 minutes from Rustin?
Oh, thoughts and prayers. And thoughts is this way and prayers is that way.
Well, you really like 2 hours away from Dallas because Shreveport is 3 hours away from Dallas. So you're about 3 hours away from Dallas. Yeah,
I guess that's about right.
But yeah, man, shout out. Don't bury the lead. Shout out to Grambling. They're women.
And stay for the weekend. How to pack my bag. Coach, I ain't coming back with y'all.
Yes, sir.
I'll be back though for practice.
Other news: the Alabama State volleyball team won the SWAC volleyball regular season title as they get ready for the SWAC tournament before they go to the NCAA tournament. I believe the winner of that gets to go to the NCAA tournament, similar to basketball. Shout out to them, Alabama State, for claiming that 2023 title.
Congratulations.
Shout out to them and Grambling. Delay. So, with that being said, what else we got? What else? Oh, man, look. We are taking over all the spaces that y'all thought we weren't going to be in. Howard has officially become the first HBCU with a figure skating team. The historically black university revealed it has implemented the first figure skating team for HBCU in the country. The team is preparing to compete in its first ice skating season this year. The Howard figure skating team became official not too long ago. And shout out to the Howard Bison. I think they also got rugby. They got a swimming team. So they are competing with not just other HBCUs, but other schools in that area, the Georgetowns, the James Madisons, all of those schools up in that area that are PWIs. They now get to put themselves in those spaces and get those dollars, improve the school. Shout out to Howard, man. They obviously have a plan.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing as a university. The more programs you can offer, the more people you can recruit. The more people you can recruit, the more spaces you can be in. So yeah, let's have a kick-ass swim team. Let's have a Fisk, who has the gymnastics. Those are spaces that we could win. They see what we do in track. I mean, you remember when we was at Hampton, we was kicking ass in track because we could recruit it. And when you can recruit it, you can win it. Yeah, that's all it takes.
Just start it.
And congratulations to athletic directors being that's a lot of it. It's programming. If you have an athletic director that knows what they're doing, for all intents and purposes, that's your job, is to grow the brand of the school. So them being able to do that type of stuff and having the foresight to be able to do that is amazing. We need more of that. And if you didn't create it, steal it, bro. I'm okay with that. The rest of y'all HBCUs, just watch them and be like, hey, let's do that.
Yeah. Why not?
But I will also say that comes with funding. What do we know? Howard is consistently one of the people who, when it's time to give out money, they get the money. And that's not by them having the ability to bring these other things in and do other things. That's not by hook. That's not by crook. That's not by accident. Funding matters a ton.
Yeah.
Support HBCUs.
And we'll end on one thing that I learned while going to Hampton and going to Southern and working with all these other HBCUs is something that Eddie George said not too long ago. He said our HBCUs aren't getting the land grants, the program grants, all the grants that PWIs are getting. And that's true. So when you have these sports, there's grants for these sports. You get grants from figure skating organizations, from gymnastics organizations, from lacrosse organizations, national lacrosse organizations, lacrosse semi-pro leagues that are trying to grow will send you money and equipment in order to influence your players to come play for that league. So shout out to the HBCUs again. Shout out to the athletic directors from the PWIs that we covered in the pregame to the HBCUs we're covering now. Y'all are making the correct. Y'all are moving in the correct direction. Ooh.
And just a quick update, Anthony Davis, once again.
That boy got a groin spasm. I ain't never heard of a groin spasm.
I don't know, man. He be hurt. He be hurt all the time, bro. It's like a joke, but it ain't even a joke anymore. I genuinely kind of feel bad for him.
Meanwhile, the Jets getting smoked early.
Ain't got no quarterback.
Yeah, they don't. But, it is what it is. It may have one, Aaron Rodgers, but we'll talk about it. Moving on in HBCU culture, before we get to football, we got some more breaking news. Virginia State. Why you laughing?
Martavius Bryant has been reinstated by the NFL. He's going to work out for the Cowboys tomorrow. Well, the Cowboys going to try
Cowboys and the Jets. And the Jets. They both going after him. Virginia State running back Raquan Smith launches the NIL service called Sponsopro where athletes can sign up for free while brands have to pay a monthly $14.99 fee after a 30-day free trial. So basically, they will. He calls himself King of the NIL. Basically, it is a service to get access to the athletes, which is dope. I'm sure the way it's set up that he will somehow get a kickback besides the $14.99. But this is genius. This is genius, and he's already on this post saying athletes and brands sign up. So shout out to Virginia State and Raekwon Smith for being one of the HBCU athletes. There was one more that did the same thing to start this NIL service called Sponsopro. And watch. I wish there was a way to trademark this idea, because all the PWI is about to steal this, because this is genius.
And I really appreciate HBCU students being at the forefront of not only like just NIL deals, but like the services and once again, like the programs. Just like the ability to be one of these is only going to take one, but one is going to hit. And this dude might not never play football again. Now I have, just like Zuckerberg, now I was the guy who actually started Sponsopro. And now I have 15,000 athletes across the country. And these schools all pay me $14.99 just to have access. It's a great idea.
A month. Yeah, $15. And especially if you can get an NIL deal for one of these athletes. I mean, if once we keep growing and we keep getting, if I were to Dive Team Media or SplashCast or whatever, I would sign up there at a month and go ahead and get an athlete, especially Virginia State, who's finished, I think they're number 3 in the CIAA this year. I would definitely do that. So shout out to Virginia State and Raekwon Smith, man. That is genius. For those that are in the chat, for some reason we can't see y'all, but if y'all are talking, we appreciate y'all.
Oh, because the old boy with the Russian hieroglyphics last week was wrecking.
Yeah, he
shut
was.
us down, yo.
Yeah.
I take that as active aggression, big dog.
Yeah, I did. I don't know what I turned that off. I was like, oh no, you're not about to get the government on us. But let's move on, man. Let's go through these scores. Not all of them, but we're gonna talk about some of the good, the bad, and the ugly from the SIAC, CIAA, MEAC, and SWAC. First off, let's talk about SIAC. Oh man. Here we go. So, Albany State beat Fort Valley. Miles beat Tuskegee. Central State over Kentucky State. Morehouse over Clark. Benedict still holds serve at 37-9 over Allen. That is an interesting game because I believe Allen's football dorm is technically on Benedict's campus, which is interesting.
But they're right there.
They
worse, they're adjacent.
From each other. So then Savannah State got beat by Lane. Edward Waters beat Virginia University of Lynchburg last week. So shout out to the SIAC. And with that being said, because of those scores,
we got a championship.
Got an SIAC championship game. The Benedict Tigers look to go for I believe this is 3. This would be 3 in a row.
Against the Albany State Golden Rams.
And listen, if you're not from the South, it is not Albany. It is not the Albany Rams.
Albany State.
ALL-BENNY. Albany State Rams will play against the Benedict Tigers at Lake. Ooh, they playing at Lakewood. I'm going. That's next Saturday. I'm going.
I've been to both of these schools. They have fantastic alumni. This should be a very good game. Albany State, buckle up, because Benedict is there to win a championship, and I think this staff moves on together. Congratulations, Benedict. Now, Albany State, this is your opportunity. You can play spoiler. You can wreck their season. And if I was a coach, that is my main objective: destroy their season today. We want to end them, put them right out of their misery. Now, easier said than done, but everything can be done.
Brother, I want to say they already played each other, and I believe Benedict. Allen actually beat Albany State. Allen beat Albany State in the upset.
Benedict hasn't lost since Benedict ain't lost the last 2 years. So if you played him earlier,
2 years, yeah.
But that also, that's always a little bit of a benefit. It's tough to beat somebody twice. I'm very interested to see how it plays out. If y'all can go out support,
they haven't played.
Would be fantastic.
They ain't played each other. Oh, that's interesting. That's even more interesting that they haven't played each other yet.
Let them get it.
So let them get it. I might actually be at that game because I like the fact that they're having that game at Lakewood in Atlanta. You're not having it at Georgia State. You're not having it because it's the SIAC. It's one of the smaller
Lakewood
divisions.
Amphitheater?
Lakewood Stadium.
What is it?
Lakewood Stadium is next to Lakewood, not too far from Lakewood Amphitheater.
Gotcha.
So that's where the APS schools play. APS schools, the black APS schools play at Lakewood Stadium. It's a big stadium for high schools. It's a good size for SIAC. I can't wait. Now, y'all lock y'all cars now. Lock y'all cars.
10,000 seat stadium located in Lakewood Heights neighborhood of Southeast Atlanta.
That mug is
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rock with this.
It's going to be fun, man. SplashCast might be in the building for that now. We might have to be in the building for that.
That's a little homecoming extendo. Let me go out there and be with my people for a little bit.
Yes, sir. We might have to do that.
Gonna be on a little grill out there somewhere now.
Yes, sir. So shout out to the SIAC, man. We told y'all we giving y'all the scores about SIAC. Those two conferences, the SIAC and CIAA have put together really, really good seasons this year. Speaking of the CIAA, oh man, not smooth, but we'll get it. CIAA, you got Shaw beat St. Augustine, Bowie beat Lincoln, Virginia State lost to Virginia Union. So that was the de facto game. Whoever won the Virginia State versus Virginia Union game was going to play in the CIAA championship game. Virginia Union, I watched that game. It came on TV, came on the Griot. Virginia Union jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Virginia State came back, but Union ended up holding them off. So shout out to Virginia Union, 30-20. Johnson C. Smith beat Livingstone, Elizabeth City State over Bluefield. And then Fayetteville State beat Winston-Salem to secure their spot. And now, as a result,
championship time, baby.
CIAA Championship. All roads lead to the CIAA Championship, which will be between the Fort Valley State Broncos and the Virginia Union. I don't know what they are.
Wow.
I don't know.
Congratulations. South Georgia holding it down between Fort Valley and Albany State having, going to their respective championships. That's impressive.
Well, they say Georgia's the number 3 football state now. And it's not. No, I'm sorry, 4. We're number 4.
I honestly, well, go ahead. I'll let you finish your point, then I'll tell you what I really think.
You got California, Texas, Florida. Those because they're the biggest states. But outside of that, it used to be Pennsylvania or Ohio or Louisiana, not even Louisiana, but now it's Georgia. And Georgia is actually creeping up in terms of talent and production, and going to the pros is actually creeping up on California, which is interesting.
I am a firm believer that if you look at per capita, Georgia is the best state in football, period. That's simple.
I would say I would say Louisiana per capita.
Maybe that is a very fair fight. I'm gonna get the boot. You go get a ton of respect from me. I'm not gonna talk crazy to y'all. I know what y'all do. I live adjacent to y'all. I know what y'all put out, and it ain't no joke. Specifically, Southern Lab. Y'all got it. I ain't gonna talk bad about y'all at all. And that is 100% what I believe. Louisiana and Georgia are just smaller states. But if you look at the amount of athletes that they put out, we should not be putting this many out. And the level of success of our athletes. One thing I will say, sure, Texas puts out a lot of guys. Well, a lot of those Texas guys fade. And I will say, like living here in Texas, it's very difficult not to be good here because you're going to get on the field. You should play every year. Most of these schools have 2, 3, 4 teams.
Yeah, they got a ninth grade team, an 8th grade team, a 10th grade team, a JV, and a varsity.
You typically have I'm gonna say typically, but some of these schools you have a varsity A, varsity B, JV A, JV B. Then you have a 9th grade, maybe a 9th grade B. Yeah, like you're gonna just get infinite more reps because you'll find if you can't make it on one of the 6 teams, then you need to just stay in school and study a whole lot.
Play basketball.
Do push-ups. Just stay at home and do push-ups.
Soccer. Go wrestle. Get you a scholarship. One thing you can do, go wrestle. But
if you can't find yourself onto one of 6 football teams, then you don't get into wrestling. You ain't gonna make it. They're gonna run you out of there. I done seen a couple wrestling practices. Not fun.
Yeah, wrestling ain't fun because you end up having to like run forever. Wrestling makes you run forever.
Wrestling ain't fun. Like as much as football practice ain't fun, there are parts of football practice that are really fun. There's no part of wrestling practice that looks entertaining. The only thing that's worse than that is track. Just not running to get to the end. You crazy as hell.
Let's move on to
Congrats
the MEAC,
all the track people, though. Y'all do whatever y'all do.
Let's move on to the MEAC.
Weirdos.
I guess I should get the score if I can. If not, we'll just don't move everybody over. Anyway, Delaware State and Morgan played. If you remember Saturday Morning Live, we told y'all that this game wasn't going to be no game. They won 24-17. Go ahead.
Happy to see that Bowie bounced back and Morgan State after they had the tragic issues on their campus to be able to bounce back and win some games and kind of be able to make it out of all of that. Congratulations. And I really mean that. I could not imagine, we had to deal with something like that. And then you try to go play football. Puts everything in perspective for me. Mm-hmm. And shout out to South Carolina State. B. Howard.
Don't you owe me some brews, brother?
Yeah.
Howard. You picked Howard on that one. I said Buddy Pugh was going to get that win. They're going to send Buddy Pugh out right. And low-key, they are now 2-1 in the MEAC. I mean, they're not going to catch Central. Central's 8-1, 3-0.
Yeah.
Scrolling on down. This game was closer than I thought it would be.
Me too, boy. Me too.
It was 28-10 at halftime as Norfolk State came out and showed some pride. Made it 28-24 going into the 4th, and then Central put it away. I'm not surprised because we talked about Norfolk State. They did not defend homecoming, and they tried to make Central do the same thing, but Central's homecoming, they ended up winning. So shout out to the MEAC, man. I can't wait. It looks like you're going to get Central. Well, let's talk about that because I think we talked about it on Saturday for a little bit. If you're North Carolina Central, you are now 8-1. You are nationally ranked.
Playoff. Playoff.
Undefeated in the MEAC. Should they go to the playoff where they are good enough to probably beat a team, even though they may get seeded like an HBCU get seeded, even if they're undefeated or have one loss, they'll put them at the last seed so they play the number one.
Nah, do not NCAA tournament me, dog. Do not put me in the 64th spot where I gotta play against. Just put me right in there with everybody else, dog.
So if they win and they go, that means the second place team, which looks like it may be South Carolina State or Howard, would end up going to the Celebration Bowl. Is that what it's called? No?
Yes.
Celebration Bowl.
Yes.
So I'm not against going to, if like you said before, I think we said on Saturday, I'm not against having the best SWAC team because the best SWAC team, we'll get to it, is FAMU. We talked about them clinching the SWAC East. If they win the SWAC, they're probably going to end up going to the playoff. And FAMU has said they're going to the playoff. They already did this before. They were like, we going. When they were in the MEAC, they were like, we not playing in the Celebration Bowl. So then you'll have the number 2 team, which would be the SWAC runner-up, which would be whoever is in the SWAC West. So let's figure out who that would be real quick. Go get the big chip. Got to prove you could play with the best. I agree, Sneaky. We agree. In the SWAC, Mississippi Valley State played Bethune-Cookman on a Thursday. Bethune-Cookman won 20-7 to get their first SWAC win.
Good win for them.
Good win. They're still rebuilding. They, as we told you before, they got devastated, and then you had the whole debacle with the coaching situation. But it looks like they are trying to get their season back on track. And as long as Bethune-Cookman can get back to being good, Bethune-Cookman and FAMU being good in the same conference is what the conference needs. You need a good Florida Classic game every year.
Absolutely.
And Bethune-Cookman won 20-7. So shout out to them. FAMU beat Alabama A&M.
Like we knew they would.
Closer than I thought, though. It was 24-21 at halftime, and FAMU used the big third quarter to end up pulling away and winning 42-28. But it wasn't the blowout that we thought it was going to be. And I am going to publicly say this. I need to put more respect on Alabama A&M's name. Alabama A&M, I had picked them to lose every time we pick. I picked them to lose every time. And they show up. So shout out to Alabama A&M. They played really, really well. Dooley. Southern University went down there to Mississippi. And Alcorn just kicked them in the ribs repeatedly until they couldn't spit up no more blood. I watched the first quarter of this game, and you want me to tell you how the first quarter went? Touchdown Alcorn.
Don't
Fumble.
Don't forget about
Huh?
Don't forget about that. We bet that one too now.
Yeah. Touchdown Alcorn. Punt Southern. No. Touchdown Alcorn. Fumble. Return for a touchdown Southern. Punt. Touchdown Alcorn. Touchdown Southern. Field goal Alcorn. First play of the second quarter. Pick six. It was 31-7 before you could even blink. Before you could even get in your seats good, it was 31-7. I was like, oh, Lord. Keenan Leachman scored on a fumble return and had a pick six. Aaron Allen ended up throwing 3 touchdowns, and he had an interception. But the game, by the time the defense got off the field and the offense started playing, it was already like 14-0. So Alcorn State, man, they are now in the driver's seat in the SWAC West. We'll see how that plays out, man. We'll see, because I'm not gonna lie, Alcorn State and FAMU will be a good game. That's gonna be
and for context, North Carolina Central is currently 8-1, and they are number 7 in the FCS, and FAMU is 8-1, and they are number 9 in the FCS.
So they're not going. If they win out, they're not going to the Celebration Bowl. Although that would be a hell of a game. FAMU versus North Carolina Central. That'd be a sellout. That'd be a sellout. I'd be there. I'd go. Moving on, Prairie View ended up defending homecoming. That's gonna be that's the idea. Defend homecoming. 38-14 over Pine Bluff. Jackson State beat up Texas Southern like Texas Southern beat up that dude. 21-19. They ended up holding on. Texas Southern tried to mount a comeback. They scored and went for 2 and did not get it. And Jackson State ended up winning 21-19. And then, of course,
from what I understand here, it says conference winners who abstain from the FCS playoffs are as follows. So I don't think that we have an option. I think we have to participate in that. Well, and by we, I mean FAMU and whoever the winner of the MEAC is.
That's BS. But, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. Now, I'm going to talk my junk. That's scary. What if we get an HBCU playoff game? I wouldn't like that, because that makes you That makes you remove.
Yeah, like you make it like you kind of cannibalize it. Like they're 2 good teams. Just let them play.
And then, of course, Grambling went down there and got beat by Alabama State. Them Alabama schools, dog. I apologize, because I picked y'all to lose, both of y'all. I even picked y'all to both lose against each other, and y'all played each other. Listen. Alabama State is 4-2 in the SWAC. Grambling is, Alabama A&M they're 2-4, but they haven't really been blown out. They've been playing solid football. So Alabama State won that one. So shout out to Alabama State. So those were the scores We got some other news that we're gonna talk about that happened during the football weekend. We had some big games by certain players. We also had a historic moment for Jackson State, and they won by 2 points. So she actually made a really, really big difference. Ooh, please don't have me pronounce her name wrong.
Leilani Armenta.
Yeah, say that again.
Leilani Armenta.
Leilani Armenta. Where can I put this? I don't know where to put
And what? And the only thing that we said was, "Hey, man, make the kicks. We don't care who you are. Make the kicks."
Yeah, so Leilani Armenta became the first female or the first woman to ever play in a Division I HBCU football game last month, and she made history last week as the first woman to score points in a competitive game. So she ended up kicking an extra point and a field goal or extra point in this game, extra points, as they won 21-19 over Texas Southern. So shout out to Miss Leilani Armenta. And she actually talked about it, how TC actually approached her because their Jackson State kicker got hurt and they didn't have another one. And he went to the soccer team and he was like, "Hey, y'all got somebody?" She went out there and she kicked for, and if you follow high school football, you know the school, St. John's Bosco out there. I believe that's California.
Yep, it surely is.
She was the kicker there. Ooh, that was a pick. That should have been a pick. So she knew exactly what she was doing. With that being said, so shout out to Leilani, man. That's always good. That's always good to have. Ooh, that's loud.
Round of applause.
Moving on. Alcorn State's Keenan Leachman had 3 tackles, 2 INTs, a pick 6, a forced fumble, and a fumble return for a touchdown, all against Southern.
Thank you.
Southern scored.
Hey, Keenan, appreciate you helping me with them 6-pack. That 6-pack.
21
without
points.
you, none of it would be not possible.
He scored 14. Really, 21 was responsible for 21 of them by himself.
What are the rest of you guys doing?
You can't let that happen, Southern. You can't let that happen. I'd be upset if I was. Listen, man. The fire the coach has been the theme of the season so far for some of our teams. Dooley, you on thin ice, brother.
No. Let me be very clear for all of mine.
Arthur Smith, yeah, all of yours. But shout out to Keenan Leachman.
Whoa. You're doing too much laughing, big dog. Way too much laughing. Just you're supposed to acknowledge. You know what? You're right. Norwood, you got a point. Key and don't linger. Do not linger.
I ain't gotta linger. We're gonna talk about it in the football segment. I ain't gotta linger.
And I want him to be fired.
Yeah. Moving on, FAMU DB Lovie Jenkins had 9 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 sack, 1 punt return for a touchdown. So he ended up basically holding off Texas, Alabama A&M as well. So shout out to FAMU and shout out to Lovie Jenkins. And then Tennessee State's Terrell Allen had a dominant season, and he's actually being looked at for the NFL. He had 10 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles in one game. This is not his season stats. He had this in one game, which is crazy.
Nuts.
That is crazy. So, with that being said, man, I am excited that we have these players doing these great things. We told y'all HBCU football and sports is doing well. We talked about Howard getting a figure skating team. We talked about Grambling Soccer, Alabama State Volleyball winning the SWAC, as well as the Virginia State football player launching his own NIL service. Well, NIL database, I guess is what it really is.
Yeah.
With that being said, this game over with. With that being said, we have come to the end of the HBCU news around the culture. We have come to the not the football game. We have come to the end of the HBCU news around the culture. We're going to take about 2 minutes, and then we'll be right back with our football news around the league. Got a few things we're going to talk about in football, man. We have college football, some more gas station sushi. A lot of frauds getting exposed, and then as well, and a little bit of redemption. And then, of course, the NFL, where we talk about the 2 games of the week as well as what happened in the rest of the. Boy, Zach, what was that, Zachary Taylor? Y'all stay tuned. Go get y'all beverage.
Him being
about
himself.
2 minutes. Y'all get y'all about two beverages, and we'll be right back with our football segment, episode 127 of the SplashCast, Monday Night Raw. Appreciate y'all.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Like, follow, subscribe.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our football segment of episode 127 of the SplashCast, Monday Night Raw, the Around the League edition. I got a few things we're going to talk about today. We are going to get right to it and start with the despair on Norwood's face as we start with college football. So,
Nope.
I am very, very happy that this season is starting to play out how I want it to. Knock on wood. You know, I hope that it continues for the Georgia Bulldogs. The Georgia Bulldogs.
I don't hope that at all.
The Georgia Bulldogs played host to the 7-1 or 8-1. I'm sorry, 8-1 Missouri Tigers.
Scamothy. No, that team's not good. Go ahead. Y'all won 30-21. You did what you're supposed to. Y'all beat them, but you know that it ain't real.
Without Brock Bowers. This was basically the de facto SEC East Championship game. If Missouri had won, Georgia would be in second place, and Missouri would be in first place because they hold the tiebreaker. But Georgia won, so now they have a 2-game lead with 3 games to go. Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. So shout out to Georgia. It was a tough. We always struggle against Missouri every year, no matter if they're good, if they're bad. I don't know where this rivalry has started. If I'm Florida, I probably look at Missouri's head coach as my next head coach. Eli Drinkwitz is actually a really good coach. He plays really well.
thank you.
And well, okay, you stick with Sideshow Billy. That's fine.
Nope. He can go too. First trip to hell. Peace, my guy, my boy.
So shout out to them. And then I normally this wouldn't be your game of the week, but because of the Pac-12 on its way out, being honestly probably one of the, or if not the best conference, you had Washington against USC, and Washington went into LA and won 52-42. And when I say it was a good game, it was a good game. And just like I said Washington has just enough defense to stop USC just a little bit. And I said USC ain't got no defense. And boy, Penix put on a show in LA, and they won 52-42.
Now, that is where I actually give a little bit of pushback. The reason I give the pushback is you look at the score and you kind of immediately want to attribute it to Penix.
Really
Caleb, yes, the running back, Dylan Johnson, 26 carries for 256 yards and 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. Longest carry was 53 yards. Now, USC had Austin Jones with 11 carries for 127 yards, but Dylan just doubled him up. If you really look at it, Caleb played better than Michael Penix Jr. in this game. And I think that's the reason. I know that everybody's seen it on social media. Kid was crying. He was heartbroken. He'd been carrying his team. He won the game last week for this team. They gave up 50 points last week. Then you come back and you get another 42 points and you lose by 10. We lose by double digits. And I got you 40. I got you 3 touchdowns. There's only so much that you can do. And it's no way he's returned to USC. That card is toast.
I mean, Penix was 22 of 30, 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. In USC, he was 27, 35, 312 with 3 touchdowns. But I think Penix's stats could have been better if they weren't running the ball so well. When you run the ball,
it was just killing on the ground, and you have control of the game. They scored 28 points in the second quarter. That's a knockout punch.
Yeah, I watched that game, and they looked like I was switching back and forth between this game and the next game. We'll talk about LSU and Alabama. And I was like, y'all, this game is crazy, and there is no defense. And I was like, I don't know what USC is gonna do, but they got to figure something out because the defensive coordinator looked like he just was back. You know how you look like you defeated? Like, I don't really have any other. I got no more chess moves. I done tried to motivate these guys. I done tried to talk to them. It ain't working. Our defense is trash. And USC said, you know what, Alex Grinch, you're out. You are no longer.
The Grinch did not steal Christmas, but you gave up 28 points to San Jose State. Unacceptable.
Gave up
Didn't matter.
40-something to Colorado.
28 points to Arizona State. Unacceptable. 41 points to Colorado. Unacceptable. 41 points to Arizona, unacceptable. 48 points to Notre Dame. Another 34 points to Utah.
49
then another
to Cal.
49
Cal is 2-5
to Cal. Yeah, you can't give up 40, 50 points a game, bro. I don't know what sport you think this is, but
are they averaging giving up 40 points a game? I think they're right below 40 because they play.
Hey, Caleb Williams, if you see this man in the street, he might need to slap the shit out and be honest with you. I just be honest with you. There's nothing else that I can say to you other than, bro, you've ruined everything for me. Conspiracy
theory. Alex Grinch is going to end up in the NFL as a linebackers coach or something. You know, I think the NFL was like, Caleb Williams talking about ownership. Nah, because that card is played. Like, you can't. He may be able to try to play that card because you can see that I'm carrying this team, but
everything sir, I wish you could blow the picture up even more. You ruined Caleb Williams. You single-handedly ruined the second Heisman. You've done it. You did it, sir. You might be the cover. You might be the cover of the damn podcast because what you did to that man is criminal. It's so egregious. I go out and I give you 42 points after I saved you the week before, single-handedly. And then this is how you repay me. And once again, this is how people get cussed out in the locker room. It ain't no way. I don't care how old this man. I don't care where he worked before. I don't care about his religious affiliation. I don't care about none of that. When me and him get to this locker room, I'm going to cuss him out something. Oh, we're going to have to probably catch the fade, to be honest. You're burning up this kid's money.
No, you ain't burning up the money now. He's still going to be, number one, number two.
Well, no. Well, now there's like the whole conversation of, dude, does he go first? And I'm like, first of all, this Drake May conspiracy theory where he's number 5 and he goes to the Giants, I hope that happens.
Well, they're talking about they looking at him at the Cardinals. No, it's like
I genuinely hope that they get him, because if you can't tell that Daniel Jones and Drake May are the same person, then I want you to find out again. I want you to be stupid enough to draw that card again. Do it so we can laugh. That will make me happy. That's it.
Yeah, man. And then there was, of course, Alabama versus LSU, which is normally the game of the day. But I think Alabama, because they're having a down year, and they lead the SEC West. It wasn't, even though it was prime time, I think because you had the quarterback play going against each other in the Pac-12 with Washington and USC. This one got a lot of views, but it wasn't the number one game. This was a really good game. I watched this one too. Alabama made just enough plays to win.
Well, you can't score 42 points and say, I guess it is just enough, but it's a lot of plays. 42 points is a lot.
42 points is a lot, and LSU was keeping pace with them pretty much the whole time until Jayden Daniels got hurt on a dirty hit. Now, I will say Alabama was up by 2 touchdowns at that point. I think it was 42-28. But Jayden Daniels was basically going down and scoring anytime he wanted to, and they got a tipped pass that ended up making it 42-28. Now, LSU. I understand allowing 42 points sometimes. It happens. Can't allow the quarterback to have 4 rushing touchdowns. 4. Now, he's good. He runs a 4.4. He runs a
Wait. I beg to differ. I biggest beg to differ. You want to know why you can let the quarterback have 4 rushing touchdowns? Because he's not a quarterback and he's a running back. I have been saying this every week. Jalen Milroe, I think, is a football player. I think he's a professional football player. I just don't think he's a quarterback. So if you let the guy play his natural position, then yeah, I think he's good. And I think that, that kid has a future. I told you
he's the next Jerick McKinnon. Like, he looks like Jerick McKinnon if Jerick McKinnon played for Alabama instead of Georgia Southern. That's exactly who he looks like to me.
Shout out to Georgia for not recruiting Jerick either. Clowns.
Did Florida? He would have Georgia Southern for a reason. Why you shoot that deep?
Boats were missed. He made us pay though. He actually beat Florida, so
they almost beat. Hey,
you right. Quiet as kept. I remember that game.
I was like,
go back and look up Georgia versus Georgia Southern. It was a lot closer than it should have been.
We had to win at the last second. But back to this game though. Now Alabama is now in the driver's seat to make it to discount Woody Dantzler. That's a call back, sneaky. Jalen Milroe, Alabama is now in the driver's seat to make it to Atlanta to the SEC Championship game. And what's crazy about this is if Alabama makes it to the SEC Championship game and wins, let's say they play against Georgia. Georgia gets undefeated, and then they get there and Alabama wins. You, again, through all of this hoopla about the Big 12, about the Pac-12, about the Big 10, especially with Michigan doing what they doing, with all of that happening, Jerick McKinnon played quarterback at Georgia Southern. With all of that happening, you could still end up with 2 SEC teams in the playoffs. You know how sick everybody would be if that happened? Sick.
Don't care. I don't want to hear anybody else's problems because I have Billy Napier as my coach. So I don't care what you do. I ain't got it for you. I ain't got nothing for you.
I ain't got
shut the hell up and get away from me.
Parts of sympathy. So Bama and Georgia right now are in the driver's seat to meet again in the SEC Championship game. Which is the de facto at this point. The SEC Championship game is a playoff game at this point. Another team that Georgia will have to play is Ole Miss. Ole Miss played Texas A&M, and it was a good game. Ole Miss ended up winning at the end of the game, which kind of exposed them a little bit, in my opinion. But Ole Miss has a good team overall. They are now 8-1. Georgia's 9-0. We play them next week. Another one-loss team. And it looks like our strength of schedule is getting better and better after everybody said it was awful. So not only did Ole Miss play Texas A&M and they won, but that's not what we really here to talk about. So I'm going to let this clip play of what happened between the Texas A&M defensive lineman and the Ole Miss offensive lineman. And I want you to tell me, I know it's illegal, and you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to end up hitting a man in the groin. D lineman hit for Texas A&M, hit the O lineman for Mississippi in the groin. It's not supposed to happen. But as you watch this video, right here, I'm sorry. And if you're not watching, we'll post the clip on Instagram. I'm letting you know right now, when this happens and a man, we playing football and you decide to stand over me in this position when I'm trying to get up, I'm swinging too. Pause if necessary. I don't, swinging in that position kind of crazy.
No, hey, if you're gonna leave yourself exposed like this, then whatever happens, man, may the odds be
because this is disrespect. Yeah, bow. I'm doing the same thing.
You should have. If you're gonna do it, you should have went. I'm going.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You're gonna get.
But he also threw another punch.
Understand? There are 75 million cameras everywhere. You're gonna get put out of here. So go ahead and shoot your shot now. Get him on out of the paint.
Yeah. Yeah. He's nice for I ain't gonna say nice. He messed up by not hitting them because you can't do this as an offensive lineman. And I seen it in high school. And high school is a little different because there's normally such a big difference between Division I offensive lineman and a Division II or III defensive lineman that this happens and there's really nothing that you can do. But I'm telling you right now, college, when mano y mano, you disrespect me by putting your nuts on the back of my neck, we can fight. And Texas A&M, they ain't going nowhere this season. We can go. I'm gonna hit the portal anyway.
And I'm gonna get right there when Coach pulled this up. I did it, Coach, and I'll do it again.
With no problem. You can't do that. And he threw another punch. I listen. Ole Miss is a good team.
Melodies from here. No, that's toast. Your boys they gave up 38 points in the third quarter. What you expect, man?
Yeah, we got cooked. So let's move on. We leaving the SEC, leaving the Pac-12. The Big 12. Gas station sushi. Oklahoma played the last bedlam for the near future against Oklahoma State. Going into the weekend, the Big 12 had a 5-way tie for first. You know what that means? They had OU at 4-1, Iowa State at 4-1, OK State at 4-1, Texas at 4-1, Kansas State at 4-1. Oklahoma State played Oklahoma. Texas played Kansas State. What does that mean? That means when you have that many teams and you're trying to get into a college football playoff, that means you really don't have anybody that's going to stand out. But this was kind of like Separation Saturday for the Big 12. So let's start with Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, I was so close to picking Oklahoma State to win this game. I keep changing my mind.
We lost beers on this to Russ.
He picked OK State. Yep. They won at home 27-24. A lot of people said they were bailed out by the refs. But
they ain't had no. Oh, you supposed to beat them.
You're supposed to leave it in the referee.
This is not a game where you can allow the refs to win it.
Josh says that he hopes they quietly re-sign Billy Napier like they did Bill Belichick.
Josh. Don't get in here playing, dog. Don't even. Do not speak stuff like that into existence. You have to be very careful with how things happen around here, because something has to change, or Reggie gonna start podcasting without me soon. I can't deal with this Florida.
Really? That's how it's gonna be. Florida between all of my teams. All of them. And nobody want me to be happy. I'm a quiet, humble guy who stay out of the way, supports his teams, and nobody wants to see me be successful. So OK State got Oklahoma out of the paint. What does that mean? OK State already has 2 losses. With Oklahoma now having 2 losses, they are pretty much out of the college football playoff picture themselves. Then you had Texas versus Kansas State. First off, this was the dumbest way to lose. Texas and Kansas State. Texas was up 24-0. And Kansas State came all the way back to force overtime. And then Kansas State went for the win and a touchdown when they could have kicked the field goal and gone to double overtime. And then they ran one of the worst plays possible. And Texas ends up surviving. Here it is right here. Texas ends up surviving. Special. And he fell down.
That boy pulled a Mariota. Boy, you are down. You didn't know you was down. What Dre say? Are you down? Are you down? Are you all the way down? Boy, it's over.
Texas wins 33-30, which makes Kansas State pretty much ending Kansas State's bid to go back to the Big 12 championship game, because they won it last year over TCU. So now you're down. We just said that they had 5 teams at 4-1. And of those 5 teams, only 4 of them were really eligible to even get close to the college football playoff. Now you're down to one. You're down to Texas. I don't know if I believe in Texas enough for them to get to the college football playoff. Everybody wants them to get to the college football playoff, but I don't know if they get there.
No. Who they got left? They should have one more team.
They got
one lost team.
I looked at their schedule. I think they got Texas Tech. Because I was looking at OK State's schedule actually, because I wanted to see who they had left to play. I can tell you here in a second if I could. Is Texas not ranked in the top 25? Yeah, they are. They're number 7. Okay, so Texas still has. They still have TCU, who's 4-5. They have Iowa State, who's 5-4 because they lost, and then they have Texas Tech, who's 4-5. That's all they play. They don't have anybody else to play. They should dominate all of those games. Now, will they? I don't know. But if they hold serve and OK State holds serve, Texas and Oklahoma State will end up playing each other in the Big 12 championship game.
That's a little deflating.
If I'm the Big 12, I'm probably a little upset because, again, they cannibalize themselves. So it is.
Well, they're finna have a round robin. They'll have a chance to redo this dance, and
no, I don't think they're gonna be close. You talking about when they come to the SEC? They got the money. They got the money to be dominant in the SEC. They have the money. They can do it. I don't know if they're gonna have the coaching to do it.
I mean, I think the Sark is a decent coach in the SEC. I mean, you're not. I mean, let's be real. Once you get away from Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, everybody else is the same. Who do you think is the third best coach? Oh, well, yeah, right under that. Then you go to Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin, maybe. And I think the Sarkisian, he in the same bloodline as those guys. He right there. He could be there with more money.
Yeah. So I mean, this top 25 it's all starting to needle its way down to the same teams that it always is. We'll get to the Big Ten in a second because I really want to talk about this whole Michigan thing because they are in a conundrum. But before we do that, let's finish going through some of the stories.
The NCAA is in a conundrum.
Big Ten. So, Dabo Swinney
look at the way he's standing there. He looked like
winningest coach after they upset Notre Dame at home. They are 4-4. And he has 166 wins. So congratulations to Dabo. If you listen to that rant, and I said, "Where's Tyler from Spartanburg?" and somebody said they may have saved the program by pissing Dabo off.
No, wait. See, no. Yes, is he the most winning coach in Clemson's history? Sure. Before he got there, what was Clemson known for? Clemsoning. That was their thing. Your school was a verb.
He'd been there for like 13 years. While he was there, they were known for Clemson.
Yes. So, and I mean, the only thing that can happen from here is what are you going to do? Keep him around? Like, the longer you keep him around, the better it is for all parties involved, not named Clemson. So, yeah, this 4-4 season, don't forget about this 4-4 season, and they're not going to be good. They're not going to be good next year. So, keep him around.
I think he may have to have a philosophy change because they're not going to be good next year if he refuses to go to the transfer portal because you can't keep losing players and not replacing them, especially now that the transfer portal.
You're going to go 4-4.
Basically replaced National Signing Day. At this point, nobody really believes in National Signing Day anymore because they may not be there after next year, after they sign. So
you keep that up, Dabo. You run your program the way that you run it. Don't let them.
Dabo said you better buy stock in Clemson. You better buy all you can now. That's what he said.
Yeah, they say buy low.
That's what he said.
You are an NFT boy. Fake. It's over. Speaking of people who it's over for, Mario Cristobal. It's me, Mario. Hey.
We talked about Jimbo. Jimbo up there losing. We talked about Dabo saving his job by beating a team that by beating Notre Dame. North Carolina State went to Miami and just dominated Miami 20-6. Miami looks like a program that I won't even say that they're in flux. I don't know what they are because they got all the talent. They got 5 stars galore. They have everywhere.
Broken.
Sneaky says you wouldn't take a coach trade with Clemson. You wouldn't want Dabo as a coach of Florida.
Yes, but no. It would get our program headed in the right direction, but we wouldn't get. I don't know. I think the Dabo does need to change of scenery. I think that he could probably CEO it somewhere else. I think he does know something. And I think that when he goes somewhere else, he'll be able to sell some kids on a new start. I feel like Florida is going to give him plenty of opportunity to get in front of some good players. But at the end of the day, you know what my issue is? He's a CEO coach. So when things start to turn left, he's so far away from the driver's seat that he can't get in there and change anything. And as long as you up, it's cool. But when you have no influence and things are going down, it's crash and burn. And that's where they are.
And that's where Miami
That's the reason that milestone of winning the most games could not come at the worst time. Because what are you going to do? You're going to fire the coach who's won more games than anybody else? Or are you going to keep him and let him be mid?
He got you 2 championships. They've been in 4. Like, for a solid 6 to 7 years, they were a top 3 team. And now they're having a bad year or bad 2 years. And what it is, you invested in DJ Uiagalelei, and it didn't turn out the way it should have.
That curl ain't never curl right.
So I think Miami is going to fire somebody, and I don't know who they go get. To be honest, I don't know who Miami goes and gets.
Miami is such a tricky job because no matter who you get, the expectation is there on day one.
Because you have all the talent,
and they just come from a win. Like overall, it's a winning culture.
You're right. Probably they should have fired Cristobal after the Georgia Tech game. You definitely should have fired.
That's the other part. Y'all need to. These schools, they're looking at, hey, I don't want to pay this guy, but the longer you wait, once you know that person's not your person, you need to just cut them and make peace with it.
Yeah. Speaking of. This team right here is probably the best 3-loss team in the nation. I picked Arizona to win this game, and I said it. I said I don't really know nothing about Arizona, but one thing I do know is that they don't get blown out. They keep playing all of these teams really, really tough, and the way that they play football is they're a tough team, and UCLA. They matched up very, very well against UCLA, and that's why I picked them to beat UCLA, and they beat them 27-10 in LA.
Chip Kelly, you let me down. I had faith in you. I wanted to believe in you. But also, sometimes teams just be on a heater. And the turnaround that they have had, and I'm not even sure if it's really a turnaround. They've been kind of playing the same way all season, but they got it going now, boy. Let me tell you.
They're a young team. They got a lot of transfers. They got some from Oregon. They got some from USC. And all of those players now are playing.
And if you got to play these guys for the rest of the season, thoughts and prayers, my boy.
They're going to be back. Arizona is going to be a sleeper next year because all of those people, they got everybody coming back. They don't have a lot of upperclassmen at all. So
honestly, man, looking at them now, they lost to Mississippi State. I think they beat Mississippi State now. Washington, they lost by a touchdown.
First year head coach. That was the early in the season. I'm not surprised.
It's been a really good season for them.
A lot of hope. A lot of hope for them.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you, let me tell you, Colorado, they're gonna
beat y'all up
at the worst time. There is definitely not a worse time to have Arizona. Now, Dion, this is where I'm gonna legitimately send you a little thought. I'm gonna send you some thoughts and prayers here. This was not on my bingo card. I did not have any. I did not expect this to be a team that you really better. Hey, and it's late in the season. You got injuries. You got all this other. This is not the team. It's not the time to play this team.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, sometimes the schedule just don't work out in your favor, and this is one of a.
Speaking of schedules not working out in your favor, boy, I said, hey, Arkansas is a tough team. They're 2-5, but they were a 2-5 team in the SEC West. They had to play Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas A&M, LSU, already. That's a difficult schedule to play when you're mid. But I was like, going into Florida, they have a team that could beat Florida.
What did I tell you? We didn't
I'm
business.
upset that y'all won this game because I really, 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 really wanted y'all to win because I want y'all to keep Sideshow Billy. But they went out there and put 39 points on y'all defense. I have a question. What happened to the big 400-pound dude that was supposed to be like the best nose tackle in the country?
No. He wasn't supposed to be the best. He was just big. He was right in the time where they had
and he squat 600 and
they had that was our response to Jordan that plays for the Eagles and Jalen Carter. That was
well, y'all ain't got
that was supposed. That was supposed to be our response to that. Let's just find a guy who's like 400 pounds. He can kind of move. But I haven't really seen the anger, aggression, and toughness out of him. He's big, but he ain't mean.
They ran dive 3 times in a row at him. Got first down, touchdown. I was like, man, you can't be 400 pounds and getting beat. Now, Billy, his offense put up 36 points, and you get mad about the offense, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They did their job this time. And, yeah. But you know what this was? I told you this when they rolled out all this all black. I said we're going to lose. This is not the team that deserves an all black anything, except for all black coaching staff, maybe. But these jerseys and helmets, not a chance, buddy.
You know what that tells me? Because when Georgia did that, it was trying to be a morale booster, trying to be something to get us over the hump. And
it also lets you know that you're not over the hump. You're looking for outside things to get you to where you're trying to be. That ain't it.
That tells me that the team is not really buying into what Billy's saying. At least not the defense.
Not at all.
Whoever y'all defensive coordinator, I thought it was Grantham, but he might not actually be there anymore. Whoever y'all defensive coordinator is needs to go.
Purge the whole thing. Just start over. Ricky, I hope that you're a Falcon here soon. Trevor Etienne, he is going to make somebody a very, very happy coach in the NFL. Graham Mertz,
did work, sneaky.
Bro. Sneaky. Bro, get off my line. I mean, I hate this. This team is such a because these players don't suck. The coach sucks. And I do think that this helps close the door on him coming back. I feel like this is really at this point.
You think that does close the door on him coming back? Because they talked about his buyout is $32 million. So if you buy him out for $32 million, and then you probably have to get a new athletic director because he's now gone through 2 coaches.
Oh yeah, he's toast too. But this is the thing. Look at what we got left. We lost. Okay, we almost lost to South Carolina, who almost lost to Jacksonville State. We lost to Arkansas. Well, next up is LSU. We're gonna lose to them.
They're gonna try to beat y'all by 100.
Then we're gonna play number 12 Missouri. We're gonna lose to them. And then know what we get.
Y'all will beat Missouri. Y'all gonna beat Missouri. Y'all play them at home.
Nope. At Missouri. At LSU, at Missouri. Then we get lucky and we play Florida State to end the season. So we play 14-12-4. to end the season. It's over.
You know what's going to
And
save Billy's job? Y'all going to beat Florida State.
And you know what's even worse is we're going to lose out, which is always terrible, and that's 5 losses in a row.
Now, that will get you fired. 5 losses in a row will get you fired, for sure.
And do you think there's a world where we don't lose 5 games in a row?
Yeah, I just told you. Y'all are going to win one of those games against the ranked team. Missouri or LSU or Florida State. Y'all going to win one of those games. And when y'all win one of those games, it's going to give y'all hope. And when y'all have the hope, then y'all going to be back the next year. Y'all, I told you, now 5-7, I didn't even have y'all going 5-7. I said 8-4.
I told you no way in hell. And Tennessee, you clowns. I don't know how y'all lost to us. Y'all truly bums. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the season, fire Billy. Fire Billy. Fire Billy. Fire Billy. I want y'all to make sure y'all see that. Fire Billy. Send him home. Send him to wherever. Hey, he can go back to the Louisiana Monroe. Go coach the Raging Cajuns. I don't care where you go. Get the hell away from my team. Hit the road, Jack.
And don't you come back? No, nah, stay, brother. Stay. Y'all, or you paying $32 million to leave, he'll leave. That's a lot of money. Because then you got to take some more money from the boosters to go get somebody else.
Dog, SMU just got how much money in a week? $100 million in a week?
Well, SMU has an oil tap. That's why they gonna forever have money.
Florida got some money over there too. Now let's not
do that.
Oh, plenty. Now money is one thing that they don't have shortage of.
And I'm not saying they have a shortage, but I mean they're not willing to spend it.
I ain't gonna say they're not willing to spend it. They're trying to find. We've targeted the same guy 17 times in a row. Muschamp, McElwain, Billy Napier. Like, we want to find a guy. We're not looking for an established guy, number one. We want to find our guy and let him come into his own. What it really is they want Urban Meyer number 2. Like, they want to catch you like, okay, he had a couple good years at Utah. Let's bring him in and let's see if he can establish a new program here instead of taking a person who has better experience and has won somewhere before.
I hope y'all win too.
Now you have us confused with Miami.
Dang, Trey. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the college football segment. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our NFL portion of our football segment. They called a foul too. Of our football segment, where we're going to talk about this past week in the NFL. We're not going to go over every single game, but we're going to go over most of them. So the games of the week, in my opinion, I think everybody's opinion was the Eagles-Cowboys and the Chiefs-Dolphins in Germany. Start out with the Eagles-Cowboys, man. So the Cowboys actually have a kicker named Brandon Aubrey, who played college soccer before being drafted by the Toronto FC. After spending 4 seasons as a software engineer, after being released by Toronto, he chose to pursue a football career and became the USFL's top kicker. And then he signed with the Cowboys and just set a rookie record with 19 field goals made in a row.
It's a turn of events. It's not what I plan to do. This is not my mission, but here I am. Congratulations to this man. I don't know. I mean, you play for one of the most recognizable sports teams in the world. It's not your plan. You know, what do we always say? We make plans and God laughs.
At the end of the day, pursue your passion. That's dope. It is dope, but it couldn't help the Cowboys. They lost 28-23.
No.
It couldn't help the Cowboys.
No, that boy Reggie said, congratulations. I know it's a blessing. You've been fantastic. Bow, 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 bow.
So the Cowboys ended up playing the Eagles in Philadelphia, and I'm not gonna lie, the first game between these two teams was so bad. The Eagles beat them so bad that I thought that this wasn't gonna be really as close as it was. I will say this. The Eagles won 28-23. The Cowboys should have won this game. The Cowboys should have won this game. CeeDee Lamb finally played like the receiver he thinks he is. Michael Gallup showed up out of nowhere. And when I say nowhere, out of nowhere. Now, I will say, Jerry, you might need to put in a class action lawsuit for fraudulent to Brandon Cooks because he has been invisible all season. But
you should have
defense.
Jerry deserves that. Jerry be trying to hit a lick. He don't never. One thing I've noticed about Jerry,
I mean, how you think he
spends a lot of money? He cheap. He very cheap. And this is what you get when you try to find something on consignment.
Yeah. Now the Eagles, I mean, the Eagles, I think, got exposed in this game a little bit because the Cowboys' offense isn't as great as you would think. They need a running back, which they didn't make any moves. They probably need a receiver. They're looking at Martavis Bryant, but they need another receiver. But they played well. A.J. Brown is just a man. Devontae Adams made a crazy catch. I mean, Devontae Smith made a crazy catch for a touchdown. And the Cowboys, basically, they had Dak Prescott on the 2-point conversion. He stepped out of bounds before running into the end zone. Then he had a pass that would have scored on 4th and goal. That would have put them ahead. The tight end caught the ball and they tackled him 1 centimeter before.
First of all, and I'm not caping for the Cowboys, but Cowboys played a hell of a game, man. I'm not gonna sit here.
They should have won this game.
I've seen a lot of people really just dog the Cowboys out. Have they done that in the past? Yes. Have they cowboyed it? Yes. Was this an iteration of that? No. That Dak step out right there at the end line, that's tough. The catch that was right there on the end zone line, and the ball is just a little bit out, like not in the end zone. That's tough, man.
I'm sorry. It wasn't the Eagles. It was the 49ers that beat them 42-10. I apologize. My bad, Sneaky. You're right.
Cowboys played a good game. Cowboys played a really good game against one of the best teams in the NFL. That's what I want y'all to get from what I've taken away from this game.
The Cowboys proved that they belong in the conversation. They belong in the conversation.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were doubting them after that 49ers game, after they barely beat the Chargers. I mean, they took down the Rams that didn't have anybody. You know, they didn't look that impressive, but you know, playing the Eagles 28-23 in Philly, this sets up for a great second match between these two guys and possibly in the playoffs, because I think Dallas has the talent and the schedule to make the playoffs. The Giants, the Panthers, the Commanders, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Bills. Ooh, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
Eagles, Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions, Commanders. Now, y'all got they got to win. But Dak looked like he's finally starting to get more confidence in himself. Ooh, sack fumble. The Jets defense is crazy. But the Eagles, Jalen, they're very unstoppable when they're 100% on it. But they look like they lost their, was it Dallas Goedert?
They're very similar to kind of Georgia, where they're winning these games, but you see how there is a world where you can lose a game. You're not looking unstoppable.
Not anymore.
But you're looking.
Not like
but you don't look unstoppable, but you look like you have a team of guys who have played, and they don't freak out. And a lot of that if you get into a tough situation, a lot of these players freak out. I mean, we saw Desmond Ridder kind of do that at the end of not this game, but the week before. He was just shell shocked. He was unplayable a lot, and he's not the only person to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys, they just like, all right, well, things didn't necessarily go my way. Maybe I could have done something better, but we're gonna keep playing football, and that's a testament to good coaching and to experience.
Yeah. The Eagles seem to be the team that is always making themselves better, and it looks like there's an arms race between the Eagles and the 49ers. The Eagles add somebody, then the 49ers
how they can
keep adding
continue to
people.
get these players.
Rookie
I
contracts.
know my little piece of team. We can't get nobody or nothing. Now, shout out, we did pick up Streets. He was actually a good pickup, but
From the Eagles.
the pickup, like we're picking up leftovers. These
We
people
picking up
are
Jack of
getting
Spades. We picking up the 10 of Spades. They picking up
yes.
King. You be like, y'all got Chase Young to add to Nick Bosa, to add to Hargrave, to add to Armstead. Like, come on, bro. It can't be everybody. Y'all can't have everybody. Everybody?
You know who Chase Young is on our team? Bud Dupree.
A young Bud Dupree?
No, just the fact that, all right, well, you're not really the primary focus. You're just kind of an add-on guy. We just need you to do the best you can with what you got. But ours is Bud Dupree, and then theirs is Chase Young.
It's just, I was about to say, Bud Dupree is actually supposed to be the guy, the rushing.
Exactly. But I'm saying
think
the
Chase
level
Young is supposed to.
They're Jag, because they're both technically at this point, as far as I'm concerned, until proven otherwise, both Jags. But that's a high level Jag. Ours is a mid to low level.
He's gonna get 5 sacks in 5 games because he's gonna be is single. You can't double team nobody. You can't double team them.
And he's not even like.
I would say he's probably no moves.
He's going to be the third or fourth guy in that lineup. So you're not going to be able to double him because you're going to put him out there with Bosa, and he's going to wait for somebody else to be tired first. That is where we hoped that Zach Harrison was going to be able to be like, oh, okay, now got you a little tired, and then just bull rush him or beat him, like throw your technique away, just get it done, basically.
So that arms race between the Eagles and the 49ers, man, it keeps taking an interesting turn. And they look like they're on pace. Although I will say Brock Purdy got to figure it out, but they look like they're on pace to try to almost meet each other again. The Cowboys will have something to say about that. Nobody else will.
Cowboys, y'all.
That's now, it. Ain't no other teams in the NFC. For the NFC South, it's awful. The NFC West is the 49ers. You could say the Seahawks, but I don't believe in them. The NFC North, we don't believe in none of them. Maybe the Lions. I'm sorry, the Lions.
They teetering. They teetering. Teeter. Pumpkin eater.
I don't know. I think we shortchanged the Ravens more than we oversold the Lions. I think the Ravens are really good. But to keep it on track, man, the Eagles beat the Cowboys. It sets up for a great game down the road. I think the Cowboys might beat them in Dallas if they can. They need to figure it out though. You got to be able to stop the.
Nah. He's not the second best pass rusher. Definitely not.
Who's their second best pass rusher?
If he was their second,
Who's their second best pass rusher?
I would have to go back and look, but whoever the other guy is playing across from Bosa is going to be on day one better than Chase. Chase got some proving to do. He got to be healthy, and he has to actually sack some people.
They ain't really got nobody else on the other side, which is why they went and got him. You got Robert Beal Jr., who's from Georgia, rookie. You have Eric Armstead,
okay, so what I'm saying is Chase Young at this point, he's you got to show me that you can be something else first.
But that's fine. But Sneaky's right. I don't think they have a better pass rusher than him on the roster. I don't think so. Austin Bryant, I don't even know who that is. Cleveland Farrell, nope. Like that's it.
Oh, that's old boy from
Clemson. Clemson for Oakland. Well, yeah,
with the Raiders.
Los Angeles. Yeah,
boy, the Raiders.
They drafted him number 4. They drafted him.
Just a terrible organization, a pit of money and destitution.
Destitution. So, That was the first game. In the second game of the week, you had in Germany, which I got up and watched this game, the Dolphins versus the Kansas City Chiefs in Germany. It was the Tyreek Hill Bowl. He had been talking all year. They're going to get this work. And then Tyreek Hill got work. The Dolphins were held to 14 points, and the game-deciding play was this one right here where Hill caught a screen and then fumbled, and the Chiefs ended up by hook or crook and got the win on this fumble return for a touchdown, which is ironic that was on Tyreek.
And shout out to the internet, because the internet will always do all of the research. They went back and researched. McDuffie was like in the Tyreek trade, those picks, McDuffie was one of the picks, and he's the guy who causes the fumble.
Yep.
Boy, the internet is a dastardly place, my boy. Let me tell you that much. Anything that's ever happened, they know it.
So that was a good game. I have this question.
Well, I got one more thing. Kansas City, y'all got to figure it out. And you got to give Eric Bieniemy needs way more credit for the way that he has Sam Howell looking for the Commanders, and the fact that, like, Kansas City scored 21 points in the first half and then just coasted on the way home. They didn't do anything in the second half.
Neither did the Dolphins.
But what I'm saying is that their offense should be better than that. The expectation is for next year, I can say very confidently that whatever Kansas City does first, they will draft the best available wide receiver. I think they should do that.
Why should their offense be better? Who are Rashee Rice, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney? I hadn't heard nothing from him until yesterday.
And can we get Jerry some more touches? Because I mean, he does score a lot. When available, he scores.
He scored a touchdown. So like, I don't see why Keenan Allen. I don't see why you think the Kansas City Chiefs offense should be better than what it is, because I can tell they are not that great.
He could have scored there if he would have just not thrown a stupid ball there. He could have scored there.
So, but this was my question about this game. The Dolphins are undefeated against sorry teams.
And
the
defeated
Dolphins
against
are
good
defeated
teams.
Against good teams. We bought into this.
Some scam in there. There's some scam in there now.
What they scored 70 points on the Broncos, and he was like, greatest show. They got all this speed. But one thing that they have a problem with is their offensive line. The Chiefs just started blitzing the whole second quarter. And that's how they got 21 points.
And shout out to the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense, for it to be an offensive team, they have turned, like, that secondary has came up.
Is it an offensive team anymore?
It's a Mahomes team, but the defense is impressive, and that's the reason that Kurt Warner, Oz Hakeem, Torrey Hope, Marshall fought like, oh yeah, that's cool. You did it for how long? Do it for the season, then talk to me. The first few, you made it a high line, I made it a high song. The ability to consistently put up those numbers is not easy.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about
the Dolphins. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, ain't nobody put up those numbers. 70 points, ain't nobody put them up. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then 14.
Wanted to bring this up to you because we're doing the Monday night update. It looks like the Jets are about to lose because they just can't score a touchdown. The Chargers do not look great in this game. Miami is 6-3. The Jets are 4-4. Buffalo's 5-4. I thought Miami was going to run away with this division, but it doesn't seem like they want to.
I don't know if they can. The Jets being 4-3 is amazing.
Well, it'll be 4-4, but at 500, I mean,
yeah, for this team to be 500 with basically no quarterback.
How many teams
you play every game with your emergency quarterback? How the hell are you 500?
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's gonna drop out right now. Pittsburgh is in 5th place. I think they're gonna drop right on up out of there.
Pittsburgh is a scam. You knew what it is. Once again, this is where it's going to have to. I think the quarterback market is going to start changing. They're going to start saying no to these quarterbacks, and I think that's the only way that you can begin to fix the problem. Because it is no way that you can move forward with Kenny Pickett. That can't be your answer. And if you do, George Pickens gonna beat his ass. I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
George Pickens gonna request
he gonna beat his ass.
So George Pickens in their win had one catch on like 4 targets, and he immediately wiped everything off his Instagram that was Steelers, put up the high school championship, and Georgia, and him going back to UGA. That was it. He hasn't said anything else.
They don't like him either. I'm gonna be very clear about that, because Deontay Johnson, he gets all the targets. When he was hurt, Pickens still wasn't getting enough targets, and now Deontay Johnson back. Once again, same thing I said about Kyle Pitts, Jonathan Smith. Whatever plays you running for him, swap them out. These are the plays you need to run for him. But Pickens, though, hey, big dog, come here. I want to let you know right now. See if I can zoom myself here real quick. See if I can get this right. Look me right in my eyes. Big dog. We would love to have you here. There's a space for you. We got a moderately decent quarterback now. We will be in the market for a new one at the end of the season. The way that these drafts look, there's a very high chance that we could end up with this guy named Michael Penix Jr. I think that it would be an excellent opportunity for you, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Tyler Algier, and Bijan Robinson. Hey, man, maybe even we'll keep old man Cordero around for another season. I think that we could be able to do some very special things. I understand why you want to get out of there with little Ham Pickett, and we would love to have you in Atlanta. You win championships in Georgia, don't you? Come on down. We got a space for you. That's it.
Not little Ham Pickett.
That's his name, Lil Ham Pickett. That's what they call Lil Ham Pickett.
Yeah, so I think George Pickens is going to force his way out of there, or they don't want him there. I don't think he...
It's something there that's not... It ain't jiving. Like, every catch that we watch him make
is amazing, or a touchdown. Every one. And I know
Mahomes is like, I go get him.
Yeah.
But I think that if you're smart, you part with Pickett before you part with Pickens.
Yeah, you might have to. So, I mean, now that puts Kansas City at 7-2 in the playoff. They are still the number 1 seed. They basically have a 3-game. They basically won the division, the AFC West. They got like a 3-game lead. I think number 2 is 4-5, and that's the Raiders. So
that's a tragedy.
The Chiefs won this, and I think they're going to end up getting the number 1 seed. But speaking of the Raiders brought in Antonio Pierce. They beat the Giants 30-6. 30-6, and the game wasn't even close. Now, Antonio Pierce is an intense player, and he is an intense coach. I think he coached, was it St. John's Bosco is where he coached?
He coached somebody, and he said he didn't see the enthusiasm before the game made him run.
No, this was not before the game. They were at halftime and said that they were wrong, and he took them behind the bleachers to the practice field and made them run gases during halftime, and they got a delay of game penalty on the kickoff because they were still running when the other team was there. Now, he was right because they ended up winning like 96-0. But that's the type of player Antonio Pierce is, and that's the type of coach he is. And one thing we saw was that those players from Oakland, as soon as they said that he was hired, and he's an interim coach, they said, we're ready to run through a wall for him. And Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs.
Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow was like, no more walking around on eggshells. And
Hunter
I'm like,
Renfrow.
well, you was walking around on eggshells because they was ready to trade you. Now, don't.
Yeah, but when you look at it, and I said they were going to win this game because it's a new voice. And most of the time when you bring in a new voice of somebody that the players like, they're going to play really well. So it's kind of like getting the star for Super Mario. They're going to play well. But I don't know how this continues. But they ended up winning this game.
Now, first of all, the Giants are trash. The trashiest of trash. They're the trash on the side of the road on the highway that nobody's ever going to get to. And y'all tried to trick us last year into believing that the Giants were a good team. And I told y'all, I know trash when I see it. And y'all for sure trash.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also, Daniel Jones torn ACL. Now, the thing about this, and I'm going to try to say this in the most polite way, this is the best case scenario for them. Daniel Jones is terrible. You might be able
to get hurt.
And then the ACL, well, Aaron Rodgers has ruined it for him. Realistically, what? You would expect him to be ready around this time next season, right? It used to be like a 12-month thing. Aaron Rodgers ready in 56 days. So the Giants deserve this, though. You knew you had no business paying Daniel Jones. Now you paid him. We don't care.
Yes, I think you're right.
Also, Antonio Pierce, like, I think he's going to be very good, but I also hate that we always see black coaches kind of get stuck into these situations. Like, this is the absolute worst situation to try to fix. Because remember, this situation started out with John Gruden, which was a dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
Which then, like, John Gruden and Antonio Brown, that's how the fire started. So you started with gasoline, kerosene, everything. Then you moved to Josh
and Dan Snyder.
If there's ever a situation where you can say put all of the worst people together, this is it. Then you get Josh McDaniel and Jimmy Garoppolo. You really, like, you're just picking all the worst things and adding them to this situation. And yeah, now Antonio Pierce is supposed to make this happen. With what? How?
Well, it worked. And we were talking about how much they liked him. And what's interesting about this is, so Josh McDaniels had like a come to Jesus talk with them last week. Because if you remember, all of this firing, apparently all the events that led up to the firing outside of on the field happened within a week. Like, happened within 1 week. So that's how the Raiders like it. They like for their season to be thrown away in like 96 hours. Hey, can we just ruin everything? So before firing Josh McDaniels, the Raiders had a team meeting where players directed their frustrations at McDaniels and unloaded on him. McDaniels had Antonio Pierce speak on his behalf. Wild that you did that. And Pierce brought up the Giants 07 team that beat the undefeated Patriots, explaining how the team believed that they could beat anyone. And if you remember, that team made the playoffs on the last week of the season. It was like 8-8, and then they went on that historic run. The players all loved it, but McDaniels did it. After everybody left, Josh McDaniels pulled Antonio Pierce to the side and said, "Don't ever talk about the Patriots like that." That's when everyone saw how divided the building was, and owner Mark Davis wanted Pierce to be his head coach.
And you know, Pierce ain't
even the assistant coaches ripped into Josh McDaniels.
You talking to me?
So
I ain't got nothing to say about the Patriots. How about me and you step outside since you want to tell me who to talk about?
So this was, I believe, the second straw. Might have been the first straw because 5 days ago. No, it was the second straw. No, it was the first straw because the second straw was Halloween when Josh McDaniels came dressed as Mark Davis.
Did we confirm that that's true?
No, but in my story, it's true because
if that's true, then you deserve to be fired.
And you also have no touch with reality of a situation. If you did that, knowing your team is awful.
Yeah, if you did that, then you playing at work. You playing at work too much. Yeah,
so the Raiders now are paying $60 million to John Gruden and $40 million buyout for McDaniels, which is $100 million to pay people to go away.
and that's that. This is 100 million confirmed. I'm a firm believer that by the time that this whole John Gruden thing comes out, you're gonna have to pay him more than that.
He gonna be worth 350. He about to sue the league.
You're gonna pay
He's suing
a
the Raiders.
brick.
He's suing Dan Snyder. That whole situation is ugly, and it's
You're
been
gonna
swept under
pay
the
a
rug
brick for
because
this
of
to
the
go away.
Washington Commanders' sale of the team, which is how you got that out of the public eye. You just remove Snyder, but John got the money to play the long game.
And
So-
you know what the frustrating part about this is? They're gonna shortchange Antonio Pierce. Hey man, we don't even have we got $100 million sunk in contracts.
Yeah, you think they're gonna do that?
And oh yeah, well, we can't. What always happens? 2-year contract, give him some money. Hey, take this. This will be your first shot. It's trash. We've seen this play out. Now the other part about this is there a team? There is a team that is, now Josh McDaniel kind of got a raw deal. Don't bring me Jimmy Garoppolo as my quarterback. I don't want nothing to do with him.
You went and got him.
You think he was a part of that?
Yes.
Oh, I guess he would have had to been because he knew
Jimmy
him from
Garoppolo,
the Patriots.
he had him in the Patriots. He's
you're
familiar with him.
You're right. Yeah, well,
I don't got
that's
no
on you.
sympathy for McDaniels as a head coach. Do
Do you think that
were
McDaniels
arrogant enough?
is? How long do you think it's before? I'm not even gonna ask if he's got to go back to New England, right? Everybody they don't have an offensive coordinator really. They look bad.
Everybody goes back there. Everybody leaves, goes be a bad head coach, and comes back. Yes, and Atlanta would take Antonio Pierce. Yes, but Antonio Pierce is more of a defensive coordinator, and we already got one who's really, really good.
Yes. No, I don't respect to Antonio Pierce, but let's not be prisoner of the moment. I don't know any. I like him because he's a former player. He was a tough former player, but I'm not convinced he's the answer now. One game against a really bad Giants team does not make me believe in him.
So the Raiders were so happy that they won that they broke out victory cigars for beating the torn ACL Giants. That just shows that they were ready for McDaniels to go.
Yeah,
He had
I
to
don't
go.
think that this has as much to do with the Giants as it has that. I think that they're happy Josh McDaniels. This is the other part that's got to be tough as a coach because McDaniels. I ain't
He's a good
caping for
offensive
this
coordinator.
man, but I ain't caping for this man. But Devontae, your real issue should have been with Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, you know what? It is. You should have fired Jimmy G a long time ago. That's really the answer. You're right. I digress. You should have fired Jimmy
They
G.
spent a
You
lot of money to get the replacement for a person they spent a lot of money on, and they got the same person.
Worst version. Jimmy G is a worse version of Derek Carr or David Carr. Which one is it? Derek Carr? Derek?
Yes. David was the one that got just destroyed.
Fact. But yeah, I mean, both bad. I don't think that the Saints are happy that they spent all that money. They should have kept Jameis and then just went and got a quarterback. They're not in a much better situation.
Well, Tamus got 10 receiving touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, 10 passing touchdowns in his career. The first player since 1959, Sammy Ball. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing.
Whole lot of nothing. Falcons passed on Raheem Morris. They're definitely not hiring Antonio Pierce. That is true, Josh. We had a chance to hire Raheem Morris. I don't know. I like the black coach, but I don't know if he was the right fit for head coach, although I know he's better than Arthur Smith. But he's a really good coordinator. But you're right, because Raheem Morris coaches offense and defense. He coached our DBs, he coached our defensive coordinator, and he coached our wide receivers while he was here. So I get that. But shout out to the Raiders, though. They actually getting together. I hope Antonio Pierce does well and they win the last 5 games, as long as they don't play the Falcons, or the last 5 of the last 6 games or whatever. They have a winning record, and they do well. But they got a lot of stuff to do. They got a lot of money tied up in Jimmy. You got to pay. You got a lot of money tied up in Devontae. You got to pay Josh Jacobs. They got to
I'm
draft. They got to.
you
They just signed
gotta
Max
get
Crosby,
rid of
right?
you would have to get rid of Jimmy, right? You can't.
Who's gonna take Jimmy? Who gonna trade for Jimmy? Don't you say it. If you say the Falcons,
it's no well,
Chinese weather. I call the Chinese weather balloons myself.
hold on, let's look here.
We don't need
So
to get in the weeds. I know who the answer is. The Packers, Jordan Love. I know the answers. It don't move the needle for none of them teams. Jimmy,
the answer.
let me tell you what Jimmy Garoppolo about to do.
The answer is you take the hit. Next year, you just got to take the hit, the $28 million dead cap hit. Take it. It's better for your team for Jimmy not to be around, honestly.
Oh, you talking about just cut him?
Yeah, what you going? You've already benched him.
Yeah.
Like benching him and keeping him around. He's got to know that his time is up. It's not gonna make if I'm Antonio Pierce, you benched him as soon as you got there. So you know that ain't your guy. So then hey, I don't want to disrespect you and keep you here. I'm going in a different direction. I know that you being here and knowing that we're going in a different direction, you can't do it. Like that player can only like poison the locker room.
Maybe Jimmy goes to
somebody gonna be desperate.
Maybe Jimmy ends up in, because I think we're at the end of Matt Stafford's career. Maybe he ends up in LA. Stays in LA. Ends up in LA with the Rams. I don't know. There's really no other team. You could probably
I'm before
Stetson
I take
is
Jimmy,
not with the team for the rest of the year.
Who?
Stetson. He is on IR. They removed him for personal reasons. Yep.
You think he Johnny footballing out there?
Glug. Might be drinking.
God,
I ain't gonna put that out there on them, but that was an issue. So
I mean, that's okay. Let's be real here. We saw when he got in trouble in Athens. I ain't finna bash anybody for getting in trouble for drinking. We've been there before, but IR is a problem. Like, what y'all? He was drafted what, 4th, 5th round, somewhere in there.
5th round.
Yeah, like that's not a throwaway. He will go on. He been gone.
Mm-hmm. They did it quietly. They got him up out of there about 3 weeks ago, and then it talked about it just now. Oh, they doing the Jets thing.
Out of the respect of him and the situation, I'm going to leave all the specifics in particular in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we know what this is. Yeah.
Rehab.
This ain't good. For sure. And not trying to be funny, but you got to be able to read between the lines. This is what it is. Thoughts and prayers for that, man.
Yep. So shout out to the Raiders. Let's talk about these rookies, man. I think I got it up. If I don't have it up yet, let's see if I can pull it up.
Yo, that's the thing about like certain people, man. To just be able to disappear, like as a professional football player, a 2-time college football champion, to just disappear. Hey.
And they ain't said nothing. But back to it. Hey man, we've been keeping
Hey, you got me spinning right now.
I told you. To keep it on what do you say? Nobody wants Jimmy G. If you can't win under Kyle Shanahan or McDaniels, you can't win. I mean, that's true. Kyle Shanahan got you all the way to the Super Bowl. All you had to do was just keep your eyes open. But anyway, we've been following these non-QB rookie performances every week because I really like that, because all you hear about is rookie QBs, which we will talk about because CJ Stroud is that dude. But Dalton Kincaid, 10 catches, 81 yards. Tank Dell. Who's the best rookie receiver right now? Is it Tank Dell? I think it's Tank Dell.
Nah, Puka Nakua.
Oh yeah, Puka. Yeah. Puka's good, but Tank Dell 6 catches, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Tank Dell is better than Puka Nakua.
He is hard to guard, dog. It is hard to guard him. He looks like he's in the mold of the Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers was up there for a while, but Lamar just for some reason can't throw touchdowns. So you have Jackson Smith and Jigba, 6 catches, 63 yards. Byron Young, 10 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble as well. So these rookies are playing really, really well. I'm really, really happy for them. But when it comes to rookies this year or this week, it's all about opposite ends of the spectrum.
CJ been cooking, and me and Reggie have told you all season that him and D'Amico Ryans, I'm really excited to see them as a pair in the future, like a young black coach and a young black quarterback. And CJ, 450 yards, he broke all the rookie passing yards. He 5 touchdowns. He had. I'm gonna tell you what he had. He had one of those old school Cam Newton days.
Yeah. So the Texans, I picked the Texans to beat the Bucks because I said when you're a young team that has talent, you normally win the close games at home and you lose the close games on the road. They're at home. I don't know how he did it, but the Bucks took the lead with like 50 seconds left in the game, and he went right down the field and scored. He had 470 yards, passing, 5 touchdowns, 30 of 42, no interceptions, a 147.8 QB rating. That team is really, really, really impressive. They have the foundation of all foundations. I think they probably need like a veteran somewhere. I don't know where because they're so young everywhere. They have Derek Stingley Jr. I'm sorry. They have
Will Anderson. They have
the other dude from Baylor. They got him too the year before. Like they have a lot of young talent on that defense and a lot of young talent on that offense. I'm pretty sure they're one veteran away from probably winning their division next year. And if CJ Stroud keeps playing the way he's playing now, and this is not a fluke, and he doesn't have a setback, and this team could be scary because they got it. They got everybody. They need a receiver.
And
I think they need one more receiver.
I will be remiss if I did not say this. Baker Mayfield did not play bad. This is not the reason they lost this game. And I honestly think that the Buccaneers have found their quarterback in Baker Mayfield.
Sure. Doesn't move the needle for me. I think that's going to be third in the division again. Don't matter. Yes, they're third in the division now.
Now, but yeah. So the Saints got to pay.
Who?
Paying Carr.
Carr's not on the last year of his deal.
No, what I'm saying is Carr gets a ton of money, and that defense is older. The Bucks can pass them. Hell, they can pass us if we miss on another quarterback.
Defense for the Bucks is older. Levante David ain't young. Shaq Barrett ain't young. Vita Vea ain't young. Vita Vea is like 28, 29.
I guess Mike Evans ain't really that young either.
Mike Evans is good. They talking about trading him. They already said we are not re-signing you.
I think that's before this season. I don't think that anybody expected Baker.
Well, then you're going to have to pay him. Which is going to hamstring you somewhere else.
You ain't going to pay him out. You don't have to pay him.
Now, they do have Joe Tryon, who is a beast, but you got to pay him too. Joe Tryon, you got to pay the defensive end number 9. You got to pay him too. Tampa Bay is in the same or worse situation than the Saints. Same situation. They old.
Kind of right.
It's really us in Carolina. But yeah, so shout out to the Texans. And what's really cool about this is Dari Ogunbowale. That's right. I said it right. Ogunbowale was the backup kicker. Well, was the emergency kicker because the backup kicker, the kicker got hurt. The backup kicker got hurt, and then he's the emergency kicker. And he ended up, luckily, you know, he's international, so the international sport is what? Soccer. Grew up playing soccer. He ended up being a kicker. They won by 2 points. He ended up making a field goal in that game. What's dope is he has a sister that plays in the WNBA who also is a sniper from 3. So they said all this family does is hit threes. Pretty dope, man.
And I give him credit, number one, the field goal. Like, it's one thing to just do a kickoff. All right, just kick the ball, kick it as hard as you can. We've all played against trash teams with no kicker. But to actually make a field goal, number one, that means they trust you enough to kick it. And then I was watching the kickoff. I was like, all right, because they had to kick the ball off to end the game. And I was like, all right, so what do you do here? Do you like just squib it down the middle and kind of put your, you know, then things can always go haywire. He kicked it right through he kicked it into the end zone. And I was like, damn, that ain't really the easiest feat in the world. No pun intended.
Like Chad Johnson out there. Remember Chad Johnson? Ocho Cinco's out there kicking field
goals?
Yeah.
So he definitely got it done. Congratulations, man. And that's wild. That's wild.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you had what you call the Panthers.
This is also wild.
And the Panthers with Bryce Young, who drafted Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud, which I'm going to say this every week because I told y'all, Bucky Brooks, I told you, y'all picked the Panthers to win the division. Now, I'm sure they picked the Panthers, and no, you picked the Panthers to win the division after they traded DJ Moore. After you drafted.
That was egregious. That was disrespectful.
After you drafted, to trade up to get Bryce Young, who I like him. He was good in college. He's a good dude, but he's 5'9", guys. He's small. Him and Stetson Bennett are the same height. They stood shoulder to shoulder in the national championship game. So you have him.
And I'm not giving up on Bryce yet. Like,
I'm not
the
either.
other parts. CJ got a ton of weapons over there now. That for sure is the difference. Bryce over there with Adam Thielen. But the Texans have a small war chest of weapons over there quietly.
They do?
Yeah, they got Tank Dell. They got Mechie. They got Pierce from Florida. They got players. They just got young players. They're on to something. Not like the Jets. The Jets are off for something. Off for this.
So the Panthers,
to win this game, we call pro football. Carolina Panthers with sharp teeth and claws. We growl to win this game. We call pro football.
This was the war call for the Panthers before. This was the war call for the Panthers before. Before they played Indianapolis. You knew that they were going to lose right after this. So, the Panthers ended up
playing. This, though. I love this.
The Panthers ended up playing the Indianapolis Colts. They ended up losing. What's interesting is Bryce Young has 9 touchdown passes. I'm sorry, 7 touchdown passes, 9 total. 2 of them went to Kenny Moore, who had 2 pick sixes against the Panthers during this game, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, look at the guys who he's thrown to. Adam Thielen, too old. DJ Shark, not it. Tommy Tremble, said what? And yeah, this just clean house, delete the whole roster. That's my answer.
The Panthers, Bills. You got to delete the whole roster already? So you got Adam Thielen, DJ Chark.
What you want to keep? Mingo. What do you see up here that you like? Oh no, I gotta.
Well, Tommy Tremble is young. He's from Notre Dame. DJ Chark is mid 20s. Adam Thielen is old, and then they have Jonathan Mingo, who's a rookie. I mean, they have a couple of pieces. I think they still have what's his name from. They have Terrace Marshall, right? Or did they trade him? They have Terrace Marshall too.
I'm looking at this and I see no wide receiver 1 and no wide receiver 2. I see wide receiver 3s and below. No. As a quarterback in this NFL, on Al Gore's internet, you better go give me a wide receiver one. I'm not playing with you. You see what everybody else got? Joe Burrow, you see what he got? Justin Herbert, you see what he got? Mahomes, you see what he got? Everybody got something. That is the new answer to everything. When you get your quarterback, you might as well just go ahead and find your little receiver to go with it. It's a set. And if you got one and don't have the other, throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. Otherwise, that's it. So, but I don't know. Like you said, you're not ready to give up on Bryce Young yet. But I mean, that means if you blow it up now, you have 3 years. You have 3 years to make it worthwhile.
You don't have it.
And you remember, you got to pay Derek Brown. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Brian Burns. You've got a defense. You got a few players that you got to pay on defense because their defense ain't that bad.
I'm not paying any of those guys on defense. Thank you guys so much. But this is what I call an old-fashioned fire sale. Anything I can get rid of, everything must go. Because the timeline don't match up. Brian Burns' timeline don't match up with Bryce Young timeline. No. Trade him. Brian Burns trying to win right now. I know because I saw what he did to the Atlanta Falcons. Bryce Young is probably 2 or 3 years away. Yeah, at this point, I am getting rid of everything. I'm rebuilding this offense. And I'm going to get him a quarterback. I'm getting him a wide receiver first. That is the first thing. And then maybe a young edge rusher. Those are the two most important things I see right now for most teams. You get your receiver, then you can fill your slots of the guys who go in the room with him. Your edge rushers allow you to just have some havoc and have some control on defense. It's got to go that way.
Yep. So, in other news, man, the Bengals beat the Bills. The Packers beat the Rams. The Saints beat the Bears. Those 3 teams are in the same boat, but not. The Bears have to figure out what they're going to do with Justin Fields, if they're going to tank. The Rams are old. The Packers have to figure out what they're going to do with Jordan Love.
The Rams not old. Remember what they said. Fuck them picks. Now them picks is back. And you need them. And you ain't got no help. Good luck.
It ain't got nothing to do with them being old. They just old. They only have a 3rd-round pick next year. So they went in. So now they got to rebuild their roster.
How?
Mm-hmm. And then you have the Patriots, who lost to the Commanders. And Bill Belichick just signed that new deal. These 3 teams are clearly headed to the tank. Right now, the draft order is Arizona 1, Chicago, New York Giants, New England, Rams at 6, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Denver, Tennessee. Tampa Bay is number 8. That's wild. So, at this point, if you're any one of these teams, especially like Tampa Bay Tennessee lost, but Tennessee and they rolling out with Will Levis, who has been a pleasant surprise. And Sneaky, I disagree. The Commanders do deserve a QB because they have Bieniemy. If you're one of these teams, when is it time to say? Not even these teams. The Bills. The Bills is the team I want to ask before we pull that back up. Do the Bills? Is it time for the Bills to blow it up, or is it time for them to? Or is it too close to call and they're still in the division hunt?
Did you see this TJ Uzoma drop?
Yes, I did.
It hit him like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills are in a very precarious situation. And there's not really a good answer. There's not a good answer. And the reason I say that is I think that in the back, everybody, I don't know if everybody remembers, but Diggs came in. Bieniemy is about to be the head coach of the Commanders, so that's going to change. And they probably won't even be the Commanders anymore. They're going to be a whole new team with new brand and new everything. But Diggs came into the season, and it wasn't ever right with the Bills. So I think that they're going to move on from him. I honestly think that Diggs is going to be a Cowboy. I think that Jerry likes a story, and I think it will make him very happy to allow CD to be the natural wide receiver two that he is, and then put Diggs as the number one. I think that makes CD so much more dangerous. And at the same time, you got to find a new guy for Josh Allen. That's the real only answer. And sad to say, it might be one of our guys. Honestly, if we don't find a quarterback, I assume that Drake London or Kyle Pitts is going to want to go somewhere where they can throw the ball.
What's unfortunate about all these teams, including the Falcons, is especially the Bills, none of them, they didn't make a move at the trade deadline. You needed a running back. Derrick Henry was there. You needed another receiver. You needed other pieces and you didn't go get it. Who else did I say? The Rams. I mean, the Rams ain't got nothing to trade. The Packers have a lot of young talent that they could trade. The Bears have a lot of young talent that they could trade. But doubling down on dumb gets you to the point where now you don't know what to do. You're in purgatory. You're in the fell clutch.
No, I mean, you're gonna have to purge some, but and I waffle back and forth on Josh Allen. He throws a ton of interceptions, and that definitely takes you out of games. But I also got to be very realistic as a person who don't have a quarterback. I want Josh Allen 100% of the time in Atlanta versus what we got.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, like I told y'all, there's a quarterback deficit on this planet. I don't know where all the quarterbacks have gone. If y'all find them, let me know. But right now, it's just more valuable to have him than not have him. I'll take him. Surely take him. And there are all of maybe 5 teams who will be like, you know what? I'd rather have my quarterback.
5?
And I don't know. I was about to say Mahomes, Lamar, who else?
Quarterbacks wise, Joe Burrow.
That's it.
In terms of Jalen Hurts, he's kind of unproven. Kind of, he's really not unproven. Jalen Hurts.
Oh, Hurts and CJ Stroud. At this point, you would take those guys.
And I will say, until he got hurt, Kirk Cousins was having a hell of a year. But without Justin Jefferson.
But you have too much statistical data to believe in Kirk Cousins.
I mean, the thing about Kirk is he was going to be able to be a steady QB and not cost a lot of money. Kirk was going to take his $100 million guaranteed and be done with it. He's not really, if you notice all his contracts, he's not a real big negotiator of I want 250 or 195.
Just bring me my money right now. Just bring me all my money right now.
Make it all guaranteed, and I'm good to go.
That's a decent question, Dak or Josh Allen. Dak has done really good with his interceptions this season. We've been counting down to 10. He ain't played himself so far.
Yeah, Dak has played well. I mean, he played well in that game. That game against the Eagles, he did everything he was supposed to.
Wait, hold on. We midway through the season. His completion percentage 70%, 2,011 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and his quarterback rating is 100.
Mm-hmm. Dak's not playing bad. They just don't have anybody. They need another receiver.
Jerry cheap ass.
So
That's
bad.
Jerry,
and a running
Jerry
back.
Be doing that.
Yep. And also, man, quietly is kept under the radar. The Ravens keep winning. Their defense is on a 2,000 defense
You would think Ray Lewis
trajectory.
back over there.
I don't think they allowed a touchdown over the last 2 weeks. Didn't they beat the Lions last week?
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
When
They played Arizona last week, and they barely won, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. So that defense has been playing out of their mind. And if Odell got his first touchdown, finally.
Didn't he get
on his
re-hurt,
birthday.
though?
I don't know. Did he?
Let me check.
That run game is going with Gus Edwards. The Ravens look like a team that is poised for a postseason run because their defense is going to keep them in the game at all times. Now, the Bengals look like a team that is going to be scary because Joe Burrow is now healthy and he is out there throwing 4 touchdowns a game easily.
T. Higgins looked like the man.
And you know what that does? That means Jamar Chase is now going to be single covered again. And there's nothing you can really do about it.
Oh no, I think the T. Higgins is gonna be single covered again. You better if you do that, if you single cover Jamar Chase, you'll be a barbecued ass. I'm gonna tell you like that. I ain't got no other answer for you. Hey, don't bring that up. Don't bring that up, Sneaky. That's the guy who I wanted us to pick and we did not pick. So it's a very sensitive situation.
He's from Atlanta too.
Kyle Hamilton was my guy.
From Atlanta. Went to Roswell High School. Played at Notre Dame.
That hurt me so bad. I was like,
yeah, it is what it is.
But yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting time across football, professional and college. It's where you're kind of figuring out who's going to be for real and who's not. And unfortunately, it looks like it's a lot of people in the middle. I don't think that this season isn't a season where there's a NFL world beater. There's no Kansas City Chiefs who's just running away with it. And even college football, like I said, I think the Georgia's the best team in college football right now, but they look like you catch them at the right time, they can be had.
Yeah.
And that's exciting for us because every game matters.
Talking about the fans, yeah, it is.
Not for you, but the rest of us, yes.
But ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna cut this. We were supposed to go into depth about the draft order, but we can. I guess I'll pull it up for a second. But right now Arizona has the number 1 pick, and Caleb Williams is still holding steady as the number 1 pick.
I saw Marvin Harrison.
But if Arizona gets the number 1 pick, I think you have to go Marvin Harrison if you're gonna keep Kyler Murray.
That's the reason that this is interesting to me. I like when you have legitimate issues. This is an issue because this presents an issue for the entire table. If Chicago's not 1 and 2, I'm gonna tell you why. Arizona, do you draft this guy who you believe to be really good with this quarterback who everybody hates? Now Kyler is supposed to play. He's supposed to start this week.
But Atlanta, it's been a pretty team you want to start against.
You said what?
Against Atlanta, and I said that's the team you want to start against.
I think that actually helps us out. I don't think they like him. But do you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. with Kyler and risk? It's high risk, high reward. It could work out, but Kyler has Kyler. Also, if you're Chicago, now if I'm Caleb Williams and I can't have Marvin Harrison Jr., do not call me Chicago. So that's 2 draft spots that I'm not going to. The Giants, they already got Danny Dimes. You think Caleb gonna sit behind Danny? Now you could have Caleb sit for a year, but then you're wasting Saquon's time then. All of these little timelines, all of this has a little bit of different nuance to me. The Giants don't really have a clear-cut right answer. Then you get right to New England. That pick right now, everything that I say says Drake May. Well, replacing Mac Jones with Drake May to me just sounds like you're doing the same thing over again. Kind of the same thing with the Giants, either one of those. Now the Rams, you should probably be looking. My answer in that spot will be Michael Penix Jr., but the issue is he's not young. He's played a lot of college football. So you can't wait for Matt Stafford to be done to move on to Michael Penix Jr. Then Green Bay, I don't think you can draft another quarterback. Tampa, you can't draft a quarterback. Denver, you can't draft a quarterback. Tennessee, I don't think you need a quarterback anymore.
Yep. Well, it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see.
But with all of that said, there is a world where Michael Penix Jr. could be available for the Atlanta Falcons.
I figured that's what you're trying to talk yourself into.
No, I wasn't. I was just because the reason I just wanted to talk through it because every team up here, like the draft don't really work for anybody. Everybody's it's just bad.
Yep. We'll continue this discussion though. We've come to the end of the football segment. We are at 2 hours and 56 minutes. We will take a quick break, then we'll be right back with basketball to round up the show. Y'all in Denver definitely can't draft a quarterback. Y'all stay tuned. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our final segment of episode 127 of the SplashCast, the Around the League edition, our hoops segment. So we're going to talk about some basketball news. Y'all know it is the beginning of the season in the NBA. We just had our first weekend of the in-season tournament. But before we get to that, some news out of the University of Georgia. Dominique Wilkins' son, Jacob, is following his father's footsteps and committed to Georgia. The 4-star wing is a top 20 prospect in the class of 2025, and he's got springs just like his father. Woo! 10th grade.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Dominique posts him a lot on his Instagram. That kid is a monster. I'm so excited for these second generation athletes. I just think that they're going to have the size of their parents, but they're also just going to have so much more. They're going to have the wisdom of their parents too, because their parents were elite basketball players, and then just so much more individual and specialized training.
The skill level is crazy because he's doing what his dad didn't do, which was shoot. Although Dominique could shoot he's shooting
and pass. Like this is different. This is just an evolution of basketball.
Yep. So shout out to Dominique Wilkins.
And congratulations on UGA. Y'all.
Their basketball recruiting is coming back now. Well, I ain't gonna say it's coming back. It's never. They get one. They're gonna get one. They get Anthony Edwards. You know, they gonna get Jacob Wilkins. I think they had Jarvis Jones before. They had players that make it to the league. So hopefully this could get Georgia. Because, you know, the goal is to always be strong in all sports, or at least all the major sports.
Georgia used to be decent in basketball, and then they just fell off and just never returned.
I don't remember them ever being decent. I remember them being okay.
When they had D.A. Lane and Jermaine Jones, they had a little squad, and then after that, I was like...
Yep. So shout out to them, man. The news that broke the internet for 30 seconds. Something we all knew that was going to happen. James Harden was traded to
Clippers,
the Los Angeles Clippers, for really, I mean, the Clippers ain't really give up much. The player that they wanted back in that,
they
was
got
Terrence
rid of a
Mann.
bunch of players who play the same position. Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, some picks that, I mean, realistically, those picks, Steve Ballmer is going to spend the money. Whatever he has to do to make it happen, he's going to do. So trading for picks with him doesn't make a ton of money doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Ballmer is just going to keep flipping assets and find a way to make it happen. So I don't think that you're going to see like the Clippers, the bottom fall out like they've done in the past. So a trade for those picks is going to be probably, I would say, the 20s.
Well, what's interesting about this trade for me is you need chemistry as a team. You need to build chemistry in order to put the best product out there on the court and put your best foot forward to win the championship.
They play
with this team. You have two players that don't play more than 60% of the games. Then you have James Harden, who already came in and said, I am a system. I'm not going to fit in any system. I am the system. And they've got to figure it out. And why do I say that? They lost to the Knicks tonight, and he played. And the Knicks, Julius Randle has been playing awful. So I'm interested to see how long it takes for this team to gel, and how all these strong, you still got Russ out there, and how all these strong personalities work together to try to get a championship, because they are still trying to do something that's never been done, and that's have the Los Angeles Clippers win a championship.
Now, I will say that now the bench ain't much.
No,
But they could have. Paul George going 2 of 11 is tragic. That's really the answer. You got 18, 5 and 3 out of Kawhi. Zubac, you got to get more than 7 rebounds. Russ had 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. James Harden had 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists. I mean, yeah, playoff P, and I don't think he will consistently have games like this. I think that this team, the starting lineup is solid now. You got to find some stuff on your bench. You have nothing. You have Bones Highland, he's a scorer, and you have Norm Powell, who's a scorer, and then everybody else is PJ Tucker, and you got to find a way to find some more players. That bench ain't strong enough. And that's exactly what happened. Josh Hart went for 10.
What they gonna find?
Dante DiVincenzo went for 12. Quickly with 7. Isaiah Hartenstein with 6, but he only played 13 minutes. Mitchell Robinson.
What way are they gonna find?
Jeez.
What way are they gonna find? They don't have any money. All their money is in them 4 players.
3.
All of it.
Russ ain't getting paid no money.
Okay, 3 players. Still, that's not better.
Yeah, just I don't know. That's why Baltimore got. I think that there's a way to. I think there's a way to get some players, but you're gonna have to get creative.
We're gonna see, man. But I don't know. I guess they're gonna try to let James run the point, but everybody's so ball dominant. You got 4 ball dominant players in Zubac.
But so if it's me, I stagger Westbrook and James Harden, because honestly, Kawhi doesn't have to be ball dominant. Paul George don't have to be. Both of them can catch and shoot. I'm running screens with them. Now, Westbrook, he needs the ball in his hands. He has to have the ball in his hands to be effective. He can't shoot. So, and James can shoot. James is going to have to shoot. So, I mean, I didn't watch the game, but he went 6 of 9. Russ went 8 of 13. Zubac went 3 for 3. Even he went 8 of 16. Paul George at 2 of 11 is terrible. But Jalen Brunson went 2 of 12.
That's part of it. You got to figure out who's going to do what. So I'm interested to see how they gel.
Me too.
I think, of course, they'll be at the end of it, at the end of the year. But then out west, the team that looks impressive to me is the Warriors. The Warriors with Chris Paul. Chris Paul has this. They have convinced him, 1, to come off the bench, which I don't think it took much convincing. But 2, because he's now leading that second unit, he had like 15 assists last game. He had 13 assists before that. His assists and setting up that bench unit has the Warriors looking reinvigorated over there.
Now, I will say, you're gonna get great facilitation basically all the time, because, and Steph never gonna have to be the facilitator. You're gonna start with Draymond. Now, Draymond and Chris Paul probably don't play very much together, but
Chris Paul is the leader of the second unit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let Draymond do that. I'm gonna let him run the first unit, get everybody the ball, and then Chris Paul, Moses Moody, Gary Payton Jr., Jonathan Kuminga, and Dario. Now, everybody on this team can shoot a little bit. The only thing that I think is a problem is eventually you're going to, like, size. You don't match up with any of the bigs at all. You're just not going to be able to do it. And that could be a problem. That should be a problem.
But they do look good. I'm interested to see how they cope with Clay, Clay, you can tell he's lost a step, but I mean,
can
they've
still
got
catch and shoot.
Jonathan Kuminga has taken a step for that team. Moses Moody looks like he's going to try to step right on into Clay's shoes in terms of defense, and Chris Paul has that second unit, just putting them in the right position, is having them play really, really well. With that being said, I still think the Nuggets are still the team to beat, though.
I mean, Clay averages 16.5, 3.7 rebounds, 2 assists. Now it's expensive.
Oh, he ain't
now,
there.
and
I ain't saying he's gonna be there after this year. I'm just saying this year it's interesting.
The thing with him is, can they find a place? Can they find like a happy medium for a contract? But I think that he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be right what he is so far. About 16, 17 points, 3 or 4 rebounds, 2 or 3 assists. Now, what I might do is I might stagger. I'm probably going Steph, and then I'm bringing Moses Moody in early. And then I'll put Chris Paul and Klay Thompson out there together. So Clay can shoot all his shots and not have to worry about somebody being in the way. And you have Chris Paul, who should help Clay get easier shots.
And Chris Paul's shot will eventually start falling. I think he has 17 points and 6 assists the last game. So I think they still need a big. And, I mean, you could always go back and get James for the cheap. I mean, just to be a big man.
Oh, Wiseman? No,
yeah, but, I mean, they have committed to the small ball.
He can't play in Detroit.
Well, they got Duren. So, I mean, it is what it is.
But he can't even crack the rotation.
Yeah. And with Monty Williams, who is trying to he tries to get everybody paid. I still think the Nuggets are the team to beat from what I've seen. Michael Porter Jr. looks like he's gotten better defensively. Joker's still Joker, who has lost weight. Jamal Murray is still playing the way he is. Braun, that dude from Kansas,
I like him, Christian Braun. I like him a lot.
He is a monster. And then they found like this defensive stalwart dude. I think he was undrafted, but he can just block all the shots. So they have a bench, and then of course you got KCP. And then they replaced. Who did they replace? They lost somebody.
Bruce Brown. He went to the
Bruce
Pacers.
Brown. But I mean, that was kind of redundant. Now that you have Christian Braun playing more. So
now Braun is a step in the right direction, but Bruce Brown's hooping. He's you got KCP, you got some players. They solid. They're just solid. They're solid top to bottom. This is a very good basketball team. That's it. There's no other way around it. It's just a good, strong basketball team. They're competent, and they have a bunch of guys who don't mind passing the ball a lot. They'll wait for their shot.
Yeah. I mean, the Nuggets, when you're built around Joker, who right now is on pace to be in the MVP conversation again, along with Embiid. I will say Embiid has the 76ers at like 6-1, 7-1 or something like that. He's been
5-1.
He's been playing really, really well too. So
and
all of that
somehow,
has been
and Boston
said.
undefeated.
Now that is what I wanted to talk about. Well, first off, before I want to talk about it, let's talk about these intriguing scores. So Kevin Durant in the last game against the Pistons, Kevin Durant can't get out of that situation ever since he left the Warriors. Every team he goes to, all the other players around him get hurt.
Just fall
every
apart.
Time. They just get hurt. But against the Pistons, he had 41 points, 5 assists, and I don't know what stocks are.
Cooked they ass.
On 64% shooting. And I guarantee you, as good as Kevin Durant is, after playing Wemby, the bucket, being able to even just see the bucket and guard everybody else just probably makes the game even easier because Wemby's 7'5". And at this point, he's 7'5" and can move, can dunk, can shoot. He can do everything. He just has to figure out how to play. He's just out there hooping. So, and then you had LaMelo, who had a 13-3 assist-to-turnover ratio and 30 points and 10 rebounds and an L against the Mavericks. Fortunately, he played against Luka. Scotty Barnes, I'll come back to him. Asor Thompson, one of the robot twins, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 8 stocks, 4-1 assist to turnover ratio. And then Pascal Siakam, in a win against the Spurs, only had 8, 6, and 5 on 2 of 12 shooting. Those are all intriguing for different reasons. LaMelo finally looks like himself again. The Asor Thompson kid is kind of crazy. But Scotty Barnes, 30, 11, and 6. And he has taken a year 3 leap. His first 6 games, he had a triple-double, 24, 8, and 5, 20, 12, 21, and 12, 24, and 8, 30, 11, and 6, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. He is playing out of his mind. He is, y'all might have should have traded Pascal because he's taking all the shots, rightfully so.
He's their guy. Like for the future, that's the reason that you just look at the Raptors like, what the hell are you guys doing? You got all these guys who play the same position around the same size. It's not, you can't have Pascal play the center spot. It's just not. It's not really. It just doesn't make any sense. But I like Scotty because Scotty is aggressive. Scotty is tough. And if you want the smoke, he'll give it to you. I remember I saw him. They showed a little video of him talking to the dude like, you are not him, buddy. Don't talk to me like that. Right idea, wrong guy. And I think he's going to be a killer.
Oh, my Lord. Kelly.
But
Bray.
It's nothing that you can, like, for him, now he probably needs, I think it's in his best interest to get a better facilitating point guard because I don't want Scotty doing all of this dribbling. He's doing too much
playing him
dribbling
like Giannis, but he's hitting his shot, though. They playing him the way that Jason Kidd trained Giannis to be the point forward is the way that they're playing him. But, I mean, he is cooking right now. Oh, that's him in his outfit. But he is cooking right now, and he's shooting off the dribble. He's hitting that 3. He's shooting at like 60% free throw. I mean, 60% from the field. And he's always been a good defensive player because of his athletic build. He's 6'8", 6'9", with the wingspan of like a 7'5" person. So he's always got long arms and he can jump and all of that stuff. You saw in the first highlight, he just backed Sohan down. And let me tell you, Sochan is strong, really strong. And he just moved him out the way and dunked on him. So Scotty Barnes looks like he's the next dude in looks like he's the next dude.
They gotta find a horse and hitch their wagon to it. What they're doing now is hedging their bets. And in the process of hedging their bets, they're not really going anywhere. You're just wasting OG's time, Pascal getting older, and you're not really you're not doing anything of value.
I think Masai is gonna try to figure out a way to go get another star with OG, and he's going to try to play the Kawhi Leonard piece again. He's going to try to go get another star and purge all of these assets he has for one star and see if they can make another run. But I'm going to tell you right now, Boston, that's who I wanted to come back to. Boston with Drew Holiday looks kind of crazy. Now that they still need a point guard. They still have the same situation they had last year.
Holiday is their point guard.
Yeah. But
I know what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying.
The whole point we said about Boston last year was they needed somebody to set them up for better shots. Because
Boston lost 5-1, baby.
They need somebody to set them up with better shots. But when you add in Drew Holiday for Marcus Smart, the defense has been insane. Like they are playing really well, and then you have Porzingis. Is it Porzingis? Yeah, Kristaps. Yep. They got Porzingis out there, but they still need they have Derek White, but Derek White ain't no traditional point guard either. Honestly, you kind of needed. Well, Malcolm Brogdon ain't a traditional point guard either. You need a facilitator.
Anthony Edwards tore their ass up tonight. 38 of them things, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 turnovers. That's a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Karl Anthony Towns, 3 of 10, 1 of 7. Now he did have 10 boards. Rudy had 12 boards, 14 points. He didn't miss a shot though. But Rudy missed 9 damn free throws. Sheesh. That's trash. But yeah, I mean, Porzingis, you can't let two centers get 22 rebounds and you get 5.
Why you can't? When has Porzingis ever been a dominant rebounder?
Wait, hold on. He's been a solid rebounder
With the Wizards? Do you count?
No.
Do you count anything with the Wizards?
for career. Kristaps has averaged 20 and 8.
At the center. You can't average 8 rebounds as a center. You kill Clint Capella if he averaged 8 rebounds.
Well, yeah, but Kristaps can shoot. You can average 8 rebounds if you can shoot from anywhere on the floor now. Clint, if you think that we'll give them 5 rebounds back if we can move you around. We sure as hell will.
Well, then what you have happen tonight happens. You get beat up by other centers. You're going to get 5 rebounds and they're going to get 22.
Well, their issue is they don't have another center. You got Luke Cornett, who is a flaming bag of garbage, and that's it. Yeah. Now they also missed Derek Smith tonight, which probably would have helped against Anthony Edwards, but Anthony did it by himself. He said, "I'll end this streak by mine."
Ooh, Clark Atlanta beat Mercer tonight. Wow.
Wow. We'll take that.
Mercer's D1.
Absolutely.
They moved up.
But once again, y'all watch out for Sar Thompson. That little kid is a robot. He does.
Oh, yeah,
he's like a better dribbling, shooting to me. Meta World Peace.
Yeah.
Look at when and not even better shooting because Ron could shoot that thing, but he plays lockdown defense. 7 more rebounds tonight, 16 points, and 4 steals. God.
Yeah, him and his brother are. Well, I mean, his brother out there in Houston playing.
I think the brother is hurt, so the brother ain't played. But Asar, hey, let me tell you right now, he
dunking on people too. They are robots.
That's like, why can't DeAndre Hunter do this? All it is effort. That's all it is.
LSU lost to Colorado. Wow. The girls lost.
Puts in effort. He's always playing at 100 miles per hour. And that's the reason he had 4 steals tonight. But keep your eye on that kid. I'm telling you, he's good. Also, I'm going to tell y'all somebody else to watch out for, I think went crazy tonight. Y'all better watch my boy for the Rockets, the center. What's his? Alperen Sengun. Because tonight they played against the Kings. Let's see what Sengun did. 17 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds, 1 turnover. And Sabonis had 8 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 turnovers.
What Dylan Brooks have? Dylan Brooks has been playing out of his mind. He shoot 65% from 3.
They didn't really need him tonight. Jabari Smith had 13 points. Dylan Brooks had 9 points, but he had 6 rebounds. But he's the high man. He plus 34.
Yeah, he destroyed Kevin Huerter. He took Kevin Huerter out of the game.
Kev, Red Velvet, you negative 26, but you ain't the low man. Davion Mitchell, negative 30. This is terrible. But yeah, the person who I'm looking at right now is, and I'm going to say this, and people, I don't care. I know that I'll be right about stuff that people just don't understand. This was supposed to be James Harden's job. James Harden fits in this system way better than Fred VanVleet. And they will regret not trading for James Harden and taking Fred VanVleet.
You talking about
the Rockets?
Yeah. I mean, no. I think Fred VanVleet would be better at getting everybody else involved. I think if James went to Houston, he was going to be the focal point. I don't think James is going. Listen,
James had led the NBA
listen.
in assists for 2 years.
And he said he didn't want to do that no more. He said, I don't want to do that no more. So if he were to go to Houston, there is no way that he was not going to be the high scorer. You don't have an Embiid to pass the ball to, whereas Fred VanVleet is gonna distribute a little bit more than James Harden would in that situation.
See, in my head, I think that you can pick and roll with Jabari Smith and Alperen Sengun to death. Then you just have Dylan Brooks stand in the corner, and just like he was able to affect Maxey and make Maxey a better shooting guard, I think he would have done the same thing for Jalen Green. He would have really been like, man, I'm everything that you want to do, I've already done, and I've done it here. Let me show you how to do it. But they're not ready to compete for a championship either. This bench ain't. Aaron Holiday was the high man on the bench, and he played for the Hawks, so you know how that goes.
Yep. So it's been interesting. What do you think about this in-season tournament? I don't like it. I mean, I ain't gonna say I don't like it. It's just I don't understand it because I thought it was gonna be like a week, and they just play it and then move on. But they are spreading this out over like 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of hard to follow.
To me, it's very similar to like when you work your job. When they come in there and they roll something out, if it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense. It typically doesn't go over well. I don't even the people at the top, the people whose job it is to understand this, I don't think really understand this. I haven't seen ESPN really break it down and it makes sense or be interesting. No sports podcast I've listened to has been engaged about it. So I just have to take the natural reactions that I feel. I don't feel like it's much of anything. I don't think the players cared. Like just like we said with Bones Hyland. Bones Hyland, he plays in the NBA. He says, I have no clue. I'm just going to play basketball. Mm-hmm. And overall, I just don't think it works for me.
Yep. But I mean, I'm interested to see how it plays out. Like I said, the NBA, I've been saying this since we've been podding in before. They are trying to do the soccer model, and it may work. I mean, the next step would to have the NBA Africa be an actual league by itself, to have the NBA Europe be a league, NBA China, NBA whatever, and then you would have just transfers the same way that they do in soccer, which is what they're trying to do. With that being said,
I agree, but you got to be able to execute.
I mean, they got the model. They'll just follow soccer.
Damn, Cam Reddish. And the Lakers lose to the Heat. 108-107. That's a hell of a game. Mm-hmm. But yes, with that said, we have come to the end of the podcast, the audio experience, the SplashCast. Me and Reggie, your HBCU homeboys have been rocking. We've covered everything. What you got for us, big dog?
We talked about hoops. We talked about football, college and pro. We talked about HBCU news around the culture, and we had a funny little pregame. As you guys, Tuesday is the ATL edition. Wednesday, SplashCast 36 pack, SplashCast episode soundtrack, and then Thursday is the Around the League. The pregame also comes out on Wednesday. With that said, Norwood, if we ain't miss anything, take us out.
Also, make sure that y'all, if you see a person playing a tuba and they're in the middle of playing, wait till they're done, because he might just hit you with 3 of them things right upside your head. And then you just hear like sounds of blackness in the back of your head all the time, and you won't know why. You should be like, well, I think they call it pre-concussed, where you should probably go into the blue tent because that man made your brain shake, rattle, and roll. So yeah, y'all be safe out there if y'all encounter any tuba players. Outside of that, number one, more black baseball, more black baseball, more black baseball. Number 2, more black cowboys and cowgirls. Number 3, by far the most important part, the historically black college university you went to, your cousin went to, your auntie went to, the person who used to sit in the back of the church and y'all were talking. Your mama would be like, hey, shut up, don't make me come back there. Send some money to the school, to that HBCU, the historically black college university in your neighborhood, the ones you go for homecoming, step shows, just to be around your people. Send some money over there. And then finally, the greatest learning institution in all the world, the one that gave me a degree, gave Reggie a degree, the Hampton University. All we asking for is $18.68 on behalf of the year that we were founded. Send that over. Put me and Reggie. You can even draw me and Reggie face on the front. Just send them the money. Cash app them bands if you need to. Whatever it takes. We really, really, really do ask you to support HBCUs is a fundamental part of our community, of our life. Thank you guys for supporting us. We truly appreciate it. This is 127 episodes. Me and Reggie, the grind never stops. Never. 36 pack on Wednesday. I gave you a 48 pack last week. And also, y'all listen to the G's and hit me in the DMs. Tell me what y'all think. I'm interested to have the conversation. Outside of that, we love you. Adios, amigos. Until we meet again, arrivederci, peace and goodwill. Y'all be safe. God is love. And we are out.
Love y'all. Stay safe. We out here.
This is the SplashCast weekly schedule. You can find us on Monday Night Raw. That is the Around the League edition where we cover all of the major leagues around the league. Tuesday is the ATL edition. Braves, Falcons, Hawks. Wednesday is when the playlist comes out. It's a SplashCast 24, 12, or 36 pack, just depending on the music. Thursday, for everybody who was not able to catch us live on Monday, they can catch up there on the Around the League edition. And then Saturday, of course, we bet beers for Saturday Morning Live. If you ever need to find us, we can be found at thesplashcast.com and, of course, via Instagram at thesplashcast.
Hey man, out of space, we gotta welcome him to a Magic City moment. You dig what I'm saying? Motherfucking king, nigga. It's only right. Hustle gang, nigga. Yeah. You know what the fuck going on? Zone 101. Supercalifragilistic, taking bubble bath with bitches. End up in my mention, then we crying like a bad collision. Listen to you, hater, better wanna made ahead of this. Call me bad decision. Better yet, that's your land decision. Ain't cool as a air condition. Copping shit and popping shit. Them haters, they ain't stopping shit from standing on the block and grit the politics. Not much different trap music, I'm your inventor. Kick nigga doors and no incentive. Police roll up on me, I'm like, hold up, bitch, what were your antenna? Yeah.
Throwing deep off in my bench, throwing ass, I'm throwing cash. Broke niggas wonder how long can I last. Dirty money, I gave that shit a bath. We ain't got the same grind, so every